Yes, people. Back with another Monday Night Madness show. It's been a while. The World Cup's been on. You know, the summer heat wave has been on. Dr. Seymour has been doing the elections, walking around with Dr. Trump. Tony's been skinny dipping. I've been
That has
immersed.
never been disclosed. That has never been disclosed.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, I've been busy with constant projects out of my ears at the moment, but it's going good. But anyway, we're not here for that. We're here for the big show, the Monday Night Madness show, and hopefully we're going to be running this show every Monday, similar times. And yeah, we'll be having new guests on. Obviously, we'll have the usuals as well. Um, but anyway, first, before we go anywhere, let's welcome the chat and let's welcome my co-host, man like Tony. Big him up each and every time. How you doing, Tony?
Hey, people. What up? What up? Big up. See, people yet. Season 2, Monday Night Madness. What are you? Wait. See, people. Get to pull up. I told you my guy is going to pull up. What did I tell you? See, people, it is what it is. When you have trusted people in this business, it is what it is. So it's just nice to have Dr. Seymour, who's down here with us. Dr. Seymour, you have to talk to these people. And of course, Johnny's down here, but Dr. Seymour, how you doing, my bro? Talk to these people, man.
Big up to everyone. I have been trying to be as calm as I can, across this summer, and doing whatever I can to prepare myself for a very long season, because it is going to be a very long season. So I am just trying to make sure that I'm ready for it. A big you up, and always a pleasure to share a panel with a bunch of legends.
Yeah, Big G,
big ups,
Big G unit,
big ups.
G unit, what's going on, man?
See, Gianni, talk to the people, man.
I'm freaking dying. I don't know about you guys. It's about 90 degrees over here and about 80% humidity in Chicago right now. I've had to work outside all day and it just started storming. So that's why I look the way I look. But big up to be on the screen with all you guys. Good to be back on the show. So hope everyone's had a good summer so far.
Definitely.
Yeah, my summer has been great. Wafodon has been making trips, down to Turkey, enjoying his life too. Dr. Seymour is doing his thing down in the US. You've been doing your thing down in the US too. It's all good. We thank God for life, and that's what really matters. Yeah. And again, see people here. There's different people here, all walks of life. We're very, very busy with our own schedules. I know Dr. Seymour for sure is a very busy guy. Gianni, very busy guy too. Wafodon too, very busy. Just got in, off work. I'm on holidays right now. My job restarts. I work with schools. My job restarts probably in the next 2 weeks. So I have a little bit of time now, but maybe later, within the month, it might be a little bit sketchy for me. But what I'm just trying to say is that we all come together, even if we have our busy schedules, and I really, really appreciate that, and I'm sure Wafodon appreciates that too. Wafodon, want you talk on that before we get into our topic?
Yeah, it's true, man. It's just like obviously behind the scenes, we're in a chat group as well, so we're always chatting. Always keeping up to date with everything that's going on in terms of football. And you know what? Just like with everything, we're mates. We're gonna disagree. We're gonna agree. We're gonna fight. We're gonna call each other. Well, I don't think it's got to that point yet. Not in this group, but it happens. It happens every now and again. Do you know what I mean? But you know what? At the end of the day, we're all brothers anyway. So I don't. You know what I mean? But anyway, all of the niceties has to stop now. And now we need to talk about this club, because I need to ask you guys. This is the question that I have. The first question, yeah. Are Arsenal chasing dreams or making statements? That's the question. And anyone could open that we open it with that question.
Dr. Sable, you can start that for us, bro.
Oh, are you giving me the honor of
Yeah, man. I mean,
of slaughtering this club? I mean, like, you know, like, look, there's an old saying, you know, fool me once, shame on you. And then it got remixed at around 2002, 2003, saying, fool me can't get fooled again. Johnny knows what time it is.
Yeah, another Texan idiot.
you know it. So look, we have seen this story before, you know, where we were linked with Gonzalo Higuain across an entire summer to then sign who? Lucas Perez and Park Chu-young. You know, like we've also been doing this thing with, you know, like rather back in 2013, I think it was with like Luis Suarez. That was going on week after week, 40 million and a pound to activate the release clause. So look, I am very much an advocate, as I was saying last year, seeing is believing. You know, like at this club, we need to see the results. We need to see tangible things that we can grasp and say that, yes, this is not a mirage. Yes, this is not our imagination. Yes, this is not, you know, replaying that whole, you know, 1994 Ghetto Boys song, but my mind's playing tricks on me. All right? Like, we have to, like, you would have thought by this point in time now, after we have won the league, first time in 22 years, I kept on saying it last year, like, where is the inflection point that we are going to do things differently? The PR hasn't changed. The whole theater, the whole spectacle of being linked to all these big names, being linked, you know, like to, you know, again, like players in positions that we need. But at the end of the day, it is still paper talk. Big up, Josh. At the end of the day, like things are still things are still unsubstantiated. You know, like what we do know is that when like who was it? Was it like Fabrizio Romano that had posted that like initial tweet that we were linked to Vinny? And there was what, over 60 million
David
clicks?
David Ornstein.
That was David
No, that
Ornstein.
was Ornstein. That was Ornstein.
That was Ornstein, right? I appreciate it. But again, over 60 million hits when that was released. You know, like these so-called journalists are banking on speculating on potential speculation. That is literally how the U.S. housing market collapsed in 2007, speculating on speculation.
Big
facts. So at the end of the day, you know, like we are still, I mean, like it's now July 27th. Our first preseason match is what? This coming Sunday? And the only signing that we've made is Man Like Quantum of Solace. Have you heard this new song that they got it? Whoop whoop. That's the sound of the Solis. that is an actual song. That is an actual song for for Bull, who hasn't even kicked a ball yet for this club. Which by the way, like I'm still maintaining a little bit of calm on him just because I want to give Michele the benefit of the doubt just based off of his scouting history, scouting wingers, you know, like over time. But the fact of the matter is we have only had one incoming. Oh, well, we also signed that 16-year-old kid like from Cardiff, was it? Axel.
Don's.
Yeah, Don's.
Yeah,
you know, like look.
We also signed. We also got the youngster from Spurs too.
Pure talent, by the way. It's a pure talent,
look,
by the way.
If they are, that's cool. But again, if they are talents, that's cool. Are they going to help us repeat the league this coming season? Are they going to help us challenge on multiple competitions? Because everyone keeps talking about progress, right? So I would say that progress from last year is repeating the league and another trophy, whether it be the Champions League, whether it be a domestic cup. But progress, you know, like in this context, is 2 trophies, you know, in versus to last year's one. So I don't know, man. Like I mean, this club just never makes it easy to support it. You know, it always has to be some type of theatrical, you know, like telenovela, you know, telenovela kind of settings to it. So I'm gonna leave it on there. That's how I'm feeling. not feeling great. I just want to see signings come in. The way that it's looking, I like knowing this club, I don't think we're getting Bruno or Vinny. I would like to see Bruno. I'm kind of 50-50 on Vinny. Like, he reminds me of like a C-Tech Robinho, and I'm not sure like if he has the same kind of hunger that say an Alexis had when he waltzed up to the Emirates, because mind you, like, Vinny has pretty much won everything at the club level. Is he going to have the same fire and the same burning passion, that Alexis had? Because Alexis, he was angry at the grass. Man was always running. And we also know Arteta's track record, with wingers. So I'm still 50-50 on that. Like, there are other players like in the market that are available, but the time's ticking. We have 30 some odd days left in the window to actually get things done. So I'll leave it at there.
Yeah, people. Yeah, we've heard Dr. Seymour. People, it is what it is. We'll chop into that later on. Yeah, but let's hear from Johnny. Johnny, man, what do you have to say to that question from Waffle Don, man? You've heard what Dr. Seymour have said. He's raised great points, but I still can plug holes into them anyway. But it is what it is. We'll see how that goes. But let's see what you have to say about it, Jenny.
I think it's a mixture of both, to be honest with you. Again, here's the thing. If Edu was still here, I'd be in 100% agreement with Dr. Seymour. The difference is that this is Berta. Now, the thing that we need to establish here, which, again, this is what we need to talk about as far as the club. The club has not been transparent with the fans what the actual budget or something is. We were all told there's a war chest that's supposed to be getting thrown out, but obviously from where we're at, either that's not true and we don't have the money like we were claiming, which we can get into whether it's the crazy salaries that we're paying certain players on this team or other stuff or other bad purchases that we have made that has finally caught up to us. Either way, at the end of the day, I have a lot more confidence this year because Berta's at the helm as far as running the things behind the scenes. Now, Solis, like what Dr. Seymour said, the track record of Michele scouting wingers is top tier. I can just name you a few names from Napoli. This is the same guy that scouted the likes of Dries Mertens, Jose Callejon, Lorenzo Insigne, Chucky Lozano, multiple streams of talent that has helped Napoli win 8 trophies in 21 years, and a club that's now potentially going to be put on the market to be worth $2 billion when they were bankrupt 21 years ago. So the guy, as far as the scout that we have, I'd have no... I am not worried about Michele, especially being a Napoli fan as well. I know what he brings to the table. So his scouting is not something that I'm going to put into question. As far as the dream side of this, I think it's all fair to say that it's been quite a while, probably since the Mesut Ozil and the Alexis Sanchez days, that we've been linked to any type of player that's got the star quality of Vinicius Jr. So the fact that we're even linked to a player of this caliber, I think, is a huge step in the right direction from where this club is going. Again, part of this is, and to be linked with another top quality player in Bruno Guimaraes in the same transfer window. Again, at the end of the day, the dreams are there. The question is, can the dreams be realized? And the only way the dreams can be realized is if we actually find out what the situation is on the financial side of things for Arsenal. Again, I hate to remind everybody, but we've spent well over $1 billion, and we have not even made $275 million back on transfer sales as far as players. We have eaten a lot of bad contracts over the years, and those contracts, if those numbers in the books are not cleared on those players,
does that matter? But we won the league, so does that matter?
The problem is this:
whether we've been to the Champions League final, we've made money at the back end of those spendings you've just talked about.
Correct, but the problem, Tony, the problem is this: when it comes to finances, it's the same thing in the business world as it is with football. If you're compounding losses year after year after year because they were not paid off, we could make $1 billion in revenue this year.
Arsenal
that does not mean that
off losses, Johnny. Arsenal is not coming off losses. On the contrary, Arsenal have just made history by making up to nearly 700 plus million pounds at the back end of the last season. So when we're talking of these losses, They're all fallacies. We are on profit as we speak.
Brother, on profit at the
I'll
end of
allow
the
you
day
finish,
does
but
not.
sometimes it's just good to check some of these things that we have,
Brother, on
that we
profit at the
share.
end of the day, on profit at the end of the day does not mean that your books are straightened out. This is business. This is business 101. If you have 5 years that are negative for a business and you have one positive year, that doesn't mean your bottom line after 5 years is positive. It's the same thing with the situation with Arsenal. We could have record revenue. The problem is again, is the compounding of all the losses over the books. We don't know what they did as far as the losses of previous times. There could still be situations where we are paying losses off, whether we have record revenue or not. And I hear with what you're saying. Listen, we made 200 million pounds from all the different sponsorships that we had for winning the league. There is no getting around that we have made record amount of money. But again, if you take the record amount of money just you had from the league, you're still in a $50 million hole. That also means you still haven't paid any of the players their salary for the season, which is 191 million at base level. And if all of our players were to hit bonuses, that means we're rising up close to about 240 million on a salary for the season. So again, the record revenue with what the situation is set up with some of the players doesn't actually mean that we're in the green just yet. I agree with you. We are making a lot more money, which is going to be needed, especially because, like you said, we made the Champions League final, we made it to the final of the League Cup, and we went to the We went to either the semifinal or the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. All of that brings prize money into it to show that our revenue is going through the roof. There's no getting around that. However, again, at the end of the day, we have record revenue. When you're looking at it from a business perspective, none of the groundskeepers have been paid yet. None of the people that work at Arsenal have been paid yet when you look at this overall thing, because all of that is included in your books. It's how they've run, it's how everything has changed with the introduction of PSR and FSP. So the question at the end of the day is really the matter of the fact of if we have made record revenue over the last 2 years and knowing that our salary over the last 2 years has been nearly 200 million pounds each year. When we look at it, it's what is left at the end of the day. Now, if we are in the green, and let's just go with what you were saying, Tony, then there is no excuse for this club to not go and get anybody at this current rate. Yes, I understand that the market has been inflated because of the craziness of Spurs and Chelsea and everybody else in between that's spending god awful money on shit players. There's no getting around that. That is part of the problem right now. And it needs to be, and that needs to be said. However, like I just said, we made 200 million pounds at the back end of just winning just through our sponsorships. That doesn't include the Champions League final money. That does not include getting first place in the Premier League Champions entry fee money, which is a shit ton of money. So if that's the case that we are in the green with everything going up on higher revenues that we've ever seen, there's a lot less leeway than I think for all four of us that no signings have been made at this current point. Now, like I said, if that's not the case, and there's still some things that need to be shifted behind the scenes to where we need to make money right in order to do this, then the dreams are there. We just need to go through the motions to make sure the dreams can be realized. And that's where we are currently at this current juncture. So for me, I think there's still a lot to be positive about because you look at the rest of the league. People are hyping up Chelsea. I personally am not a believer in Chelsea like this. I think they have a long way to go before I have to worry about Chelsea. Manchester City is an either all or nothing story, and it's the same thing with Man United and everybody else. So I think there's a lot to be positive for coming into this season. However, if we're keeping it strictly on transfers, it's a flip of a coin is what it is right now. It's either we're biding time and waiting to see to make the right move for the right amount of money, or there's other things behind the scenes that are holding us back from actually spending the money that we need to in order for us to go back to back.
Nice.
Waffle done. I would like to hear from you before we tear the whole stuff down and get into the argument more deeper. Though I feel what Gianni said, and of course I have my own opinions based on what he said. But again, we just have to roll with it. It's opinions, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Waffle done you.
Me and Johnny's had this conversation quite a few times actually, and there are quite key points to what he's making. So when you look at the team as a whole, when you look at the squad as a whole, we have players that are on ridiculous amount of money, over 150 plus, 200 plus.
Pick up Gunnar Ricken.
Yeah,
Gunnar Ricken is not with us today. He'll be with us next time. But big up to Gunnar Ricken. That's our brother, our friend, part of the panel.
Yeah, man. So anyway. Yeah, so,
I mean, he's trying to cover up for his brother Johnny. Come on, man. I mean, American connection, bro. We get it, Rican. Yeah, you.
Hey, Italians and Puerto Ricans.
We hear it.
You know, I'm just going to cut to the chase in it because I'm not going to go through all this financial bullshit talk. Yeah, I'm not here for all of that tonight. We have players that are on astronomical money that we can't get rid of. And
hold on, before you go any further, let's name some of these players that are on astronomical, wages, just so that there isn't any dispute.
I want to tell you who isn't on astronomical wages first, yeah? Timber.
Raya and Timber.
Rare. Two of our best players, yeah? No doubt in that core structure, yeah? But the players that are on big money, Odegaard, Havertz,
Jesus,
Martinelli,
Ben White,
Noni
Madueke.
Yeah, Madueke. All these players are on massive money, yeah. And some of these players, I think, they're not good enough for Arsenal. I don't think Madueke is good enough for Arsenal. There's some players that we can't get 10 pence for, $10. Yeah, we still got Vieira. We still got Reece Nelson on 100.
Who's on 100,000 a week? How he got that, I have no idea.
Edu tax. So
Arteta
we are operating at a loss each season when these players still remain at our club. We might be making a profit, yeah, in terms of like revenues and ticket sales and all of that kind of malarkey, yeah. But we are losing it when it comes to the football side because no one wants our players, and when they do want our players, they only want to pay a pittance because of the wages that we have just got happy with and just giving it out just like confetti. I want to work for Arsenal because I know I'll be on a big salary there because these guys love to pay out money. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about that for the moment. Tony, let's see what you got to say.
People, I mean, Johnny comes here, talks about this salary and wages. Johnny, Arsenal is managed in a self-sufficient way. If you're into finances, you definitely know what that means. Definitely.
I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry. I gotta stop you right there. I gotta stop you right there. No, I gotta stop you right there.
No.
I have to, brother.
You might not like it, but you have to hear it though.
No,
you might
not
like it,
hold on a second.
That's
Pause.
the truth.
It's not a matter about liking. It's a matter about coherence. Because if we were truly so self-sufficient, we wouldn't be having these discussions about needing to get players out before we bring players in. So no, this model is not self-sufficient.
Again, because the argument has been blown out of proportion. So we need to get some perspective of what we're really talking about. Dr. Simon, since you want to be the guy that saves the day, yeah? How about you answer on this one? Chew on this one. Which team has the highest wage bill in the Premier League?
City.
Oh, Johnny, do you have to help him out? People, yeah. Arsenal,
I don't care about these statistics, my friend. Look, we're owned by billionaires, and you're talking about self-sufficiency.
Arsenal have the second largest wage bill in the Premier League, slightly followed by Liverpool, who is under 176 million on an annual basis. Arsenal is on about 187 million on an annual wages, bro.
It's 100. It's 100 and it's 191. It's
something like that. Something like that.
Yes. However, the difference. But here's really quick, and I'll let you go, Tony. Here's the only thing about this, and I've used this example in our group chat, was the Solus purchase. If you look at the Solus breakdown, it was a sell to buy situation because of the situation with Trossard. If you look at the situation and how the whole sale went down, Trossard is 15 million pounds with add-ons to equal up to potentially 20 million pounds if he hits everything for Besiktas. If you look at the purchase of Solus is 34 million pounds. Now, if you look at it, $15 million off of the 34 leaves you $19 million. Solis is getting paid half of what Trossard had as far as his yearly wage. So he's on 90 when Trossard was on 180. The thing about this purchase is that is alarming to me is that a smaller purchase at that magnitude, you're cutting a contract, which is good. However, the cut of the contract is what you're relying to pay the rest of the money off, which is a concern. That's the only reason why that I've raised the things that I'm looking at the way it is financially. The other thing that we need to address is right now we have a squad of 27 guys. 16 of the 27 are on 100,000 a week salary. And again, a guy like Reese Nelson does not deserve 100,000 a week. And on top of that, 7 guys are on 200,000 plus a week with Saka on 3. And like Waffle Don pointed out, we still have to re-sign Urian Timber and Raya. Both of those guys, I think everybody here can agree, at least in my opinion, are top 5 in both of their positions. I think Raya is a top 5 goalkeeper in the world, and I think Urian Timber, to be honest with you, when healthy, the only guy who gives him a run for his money is Hakimi. With that being said, you're possibly going to go up to now having 2 more guys on 200 grand a week. Now, with what Tony has said, the incentive of the extra revenue and the record-breaking revenue that we're getting is the light at the end of the tunnel that we're being able to do this because we will be able to afford to be even more self-sustaining, like you pointed out. The issue right now is because of how financial fair play works, your books are only good on 5 years. So if you look at the amount of money, the last 3 transfer windows, we have spent over 200 million
now we want
apiece.
to talk about FFP. Now we want to talk about FFP.
It's all relative. It's all relative.
And nothing has been brought up to them, bro. No one wants to talk about that, bro. Yeah. Suddenly, right now, when I've said that, we're a self-sustaining club, we spend what we earn, we spend what we get. Suddenly, FFP rules comes into play. See, this is the thing, yeah. The Solis deal was a nice deal, yeah. Again,
nobody's disagreeing with that
from a financial standpoint. But again, you've totally erased away what the talent Solis will bring to the football club, how he's going to help the football club, what he's bringing to the team. He's bringing pace. He's going to definitely bring goals with a soul Trossard. I mean, he's gotten to that age. And again, see, people, when you have that kind of figures for that kind of profile of player who's getting to the dregs of his playing days, you just have to take the money and run with it. And by the way, all these talks about wages and sales about Arsenal has never, ever been a selling club whatsoever in any way. We don't maximize resources when we sell players at all. It has never been the case. What is our highest sales ever in this football club? Still remains the sales of Alex Chamberlain to Liverpool. Let's not pretend that if Arsenal is a big selling club. We're not.
But doesn't that model have to change?
Not to be a big top selling club.
Have to change now.
It has always been like, so when you're saying the good old days of what? Good old days of selling Alex Chamberlain for 35 million. Is that the
yardstick? No, but see, okay, hold on, Tony. You're going on a rant about something that is.
These deals are deals that have been made by other management resources that were there before. Yeah, so it's all compounded now. It even makes it worse because they're even on higher wages. Okay, tell me reasonably, why would someone like Gabriel Jesus, who's on £250 million, decide to leave the football club? For what?
Yeah, he's not leaving.
Why would he leave?
No, but again, that's why. But again, that's part of.
It's out of Arsenal's hand. It's contracted to the football club. There's nothing we can do. Better did not bring him and say, hey, just
let me ask you something.
Take the money. He did not do that. So why play Better and all these other guys
for less
that are trying to get this mess out of the way? You can't sit down there and say, hey, we're not making it. So you think Better is not trying to make this sales? You think Better is not trying to get Vieira out? He's trying to do all those things, but we should be patient about all these things, bro, and not compound all these messages to Better and the new guys that are there, bro.
Tony, let me ask you a quick question, or the panel, yeah? and I think we're going away from the signings conversation. It's 30 minutes in, and we've not even talked about Bruno or anyone. I don't want to stay on this too long. I just want to ask you a question, yeah? How can I won't say little Nottingham Forest, sell a player for 16 million?
Who, Villa with Rodgers?
Anderson.
No, Forest with Anderson.
Forest.
Yeah, how can Forest sell a player for 116 million, yeah? And we're still in the days of Oxlade or Balogun being our highest transfer, that was 35 million. It's 2026 now, Tony. We're Premier League champions, bro. It cannot continue to be like this consistently. We have to start playing with the big boys. Pause. We have to start being a big club. And we have to start. How can we win things and teams look at our players and think, I don't want them? What message is that saying? That players can just sit here, see out their contracts, and we can't even improve our club. We can't even improve the team. Who do you want, Vinny? Who do you want, Vinny?
Waffle done. See, on no circumstance has the club come out to tell you that, hey, due to the wages we have right now, we cannot be able to make to bring in players. Bro, we just brought in Gyökeres last season. What are we talking about? We just brought in Eze in the same season that we brought in Victor Gyökeres. Bro, it's not a problem. That's why we can confidently go into the market and start picking on Vinicius Jr.
So what haven't we?
What about selling players?
Because we have the financial, not just the financial strength. We have the financial will to go there because
so why haven't we yet?
It's not the problem, bro.
So then why haven't we yet?
The problem is selling players. That's the problem.
Bro, we don't have to. Bro, see, we don't have to say Arsenal is still the second. Yeah, we're still the second with the highest wages in the league, bro. We can still afford these big time players, bro. And again, Beta is working on outgoings. You have to be patient, innit? It's either you want to be patient with Beta and trust him to do his job, just like some people trusted Mikel Arteta to do his job last season. I mean, Dr. Seymour, that rings alarm bells, innit? Because you never trusted your manager to win the Premier League, innit? So it's better right now. You either trust Beta, to do his job and make it good on those deals in order to sell Nelson, sell Vieira, and all these other clowns we have in our football club. I support selling them. But again, it's a gradual process because these have been compounded on them. And it's not Bertrand's fault, bro. It's the fools we had, down there before. So right now he has to do all these things now, and it's not easy for him. How can you flog out Nelson with 100?
No one's blaming Berta.
But that's the thing. Nobody's blaming Berta. We're simply bringing up the point that, again, this is a situation with what you just said. You and me said the same thing, but we both said it differently. That's the only thing here. We've both said nobody's to blaming Berta. Anybody who's trying to blame Berta for what's going on is behind the 8 ball on this. The problem is that, again, you're correct. Part of the problem of why we can't move as fast and as quickly as we want to get these players is because of the fact that nobody wants to buy these guys. You've made a very good point. Jesus, who the hell wants to buy an injury-riddled player who claims he's a striker, has said out in the open scoring goals isn't my specialty, which that's an oxymoron if you're a striker, but then you're going to try to get rid of him for 20 million pounds and expect somebody to take on a 265,000 pound a week player. I mean, that Jesus is the perfect example of what the issue is here, especially with the likes of Havertz. The two of them combined is over 2 million pounds a week, 2 million pounds a month of salary for bench players. That's inexcusable. I think all of us can sit here and agree that that's inexcusable. If the two of them were on 100, 150, I wouldn't complain as much about it if it was that much cheaper. But the fact you're talking about 2 million a month going out the window to guys who aren't even guaranteed to play a full season, let alone the fact that they're bench players, is a problem. And again, nobody's blaming Berta because he's the one that's got to fix this mess. Here's the bottom line at the end of the day. Once the mess is fixed, there's not going to be a team that's going to be able to deal with Arsenal. Because, again, we would be an even bigger self-sustaining club because we don't have these financial remedies of the past of what it took to spend all the money to finally get us over the line and win the Premier League. Now that we have a guy who has the history of winning, like Berta did at Atletico Madrid, all he has to do is jump the financial hoops, however long it's going to be, because we don't know how long it is. And again, like we said, we can only speculate, like what both Doc and Tony said, we can only speculate what the situation is financially. What it looks like outside is that, yes, we do have a ton of extra revenue that's come in, but we also don't know what that ton of extra revenue has gone to if it has to fix things in the past. Here's a funny stat for everybody on this panel. If Kai Havertz sees out his entire deal, Kai Havertz will have cost Arsenal £137.5 million. We cannot make that mistake on a player of his caliber ever again. That needs to stop.
His goal also won us our first league title in the last 22 years.
Yes, but a small, brother, Kai Havertz, what Kai Havertz gave us for this season is not worth that much money.
It can go round. I mean, you don't have to look at it from
pause.
It can go around, but brother, you can't tell me you want a bench player costing you that much money.
Arsenal's turn for the title, as a very pivotal goal that won us the title.
No, agreed. But okay, Tony, if you're building a team
from one side, you also have to look at it from the other back end too, bro. You can't eat, bro. You can't eat all the apples all at the same time, bro. You have to leave some crumbs for the dogs and for the birds.
No, I'm leaving crumbs, but what I'm asking you is this: if you're building a team, I have no money. If you told me right now, Gianni, we're getting Vinicius Jr. to Arsenal. He wants $500,000 a week. Cool. It's Vinny Jr. I hear it. Let's go. Kai Havertz, a player who started off where he was and has fallen to where he was, does not deserve $137.5 million. He just doesn't. That's just basic principle. Same thing, like another example. If Noni Madueke stays his entire contract, he's a £90 million player. Nobody on this panel can tell me Noni Madueke is worth $90 million. Nobody can tell me he's worth $90 million. That's my point. If you're telling me in the future, for the next 2 years, Berta is building a starting lineup where the majority of the money is the starting 11 and maybe the next 4 or 5 guys that are important off the bench, but then the rest of the players are in regular amount of money, you're not going to hear me complain because that's how all the self-sustaining big clubs have been. That's just the way it goes. But when you're telling me that you got a starting 11 worth so much money and then the bench, 2 guys on the bench on top of it that didn't even add a lot to the team for the overall run last year. Did Kai Havertz score important goals? 100%. I'm not taking that away from him. But again, nobody can sit here and tell me that a bench player is worth as much money as what Kai's been. That's all I'm saying with this to why the books need to be straightened out when it comes to that. If you're telling me, listen, I got 3 superstars that are going to be the front line of Arsenal for the next 3 years, and we're going to win 2 out of the 3 Premier League and win a Champions League. You're not going to hear me complain if they're getting like Saka 300,000, potentially Vinny 500,000. That comes with the territory of wanting to win the trophies that we want to win. But when it comes to past your starting 11 and past a couple guys on the bench, the rest of the team don't deserve the money that they're getting paid. I'm sorry. That's my opinion on that.
And let's just,
I hear you, but we all can all agree that, you know, spending and wages and all this stuff, it's also in the same bracket. It's gone bonkers over the years.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, if Tonali and all these other clowns here are getting big time contracts here, walking into a club like Tottenham, getting big time money, bro, I mean, why won't a full-fledged German international who started for them, by the way, in the World Cup, who scored goals for them, by the way, in the German national team in the World Cup, scored your only Champions League goal that you've seen in how many years you weren't there, in the final and the last time, bro. So, I'm not saying that he deserves it because I know better, but I'm just saying the market is bonkers, yeah. And
100%. You're not going to hear me argue on that.
It wasn't better, and our recent management that actually signed all these deals and did all this hocus pocus. You know, it has to be systematically drained. But you also have to understand that it can be done because they're on high wages. So I mean, Bert can just just turn up the wand, and because Dr. Seymour is just saying, hey, turn up the wand and let it go. How? It's not possible, bro. You can do it.
We have done that for.
It's not possible.
We got rid of Aubameyang and Ozil for far less.
Okay.
Did we not?
Go get Jesus. Then why is people like Jesus
Did
in
we
the
not?
club? Why is people like Jesus,
Tony,
Nelson,
answer
Gerrard,
this
and all
question.
these other
Did we
clowns?
not?
Why are they in
Did
the
we
Football
not
Club?
terminate
If
Ozil
we
and
could just done
Aubameyang's
it
contract?
by the one, it's not possible. It's something that has to go in systematically, bro. The damage has been done. They're already on high wages. You can't just
Answer me
turn it
this.
off like
Has
that, bro.
Aubameyang?
All right. Okay, guys. 40
Sorry,
minutes.
this is absolutely
40 minutes of talking about this, yeah? I don't want to talk about this no more. This is how it is already. But listen, I think we need to talk about 3 players, and we talk about one at a time. This transfer window, if I was to ask you in the chat, what number from 1 to 0 would you rate this transfer window for Arsenal so far? Mine is a 0.1 or 1. But I want to ask Tony, yeah, because Tony's in his pro, he's in his pro positive mode at the moment. Which that's true. Anyone could do what they want to do. Anyone could do what they want to do at the end of the day. But I'm a passive aggressive person, so I'm cool, and then I could switch anytime. But I want to ask Tony, yeah. Bruno Guimaraes. There's been talk of us putting in a 70 million bid. That's been denied, or whether it's gone through, or whatever's happening on that side. There's talk of this week that we're going to be going in with another bid. What's your whole take on the whole affair with Bruno right now? Do you think this should have been wrapped up maybe a week ago, or do you think these kind of deals take time?
No, see, I mean, brothers, we've been talking about that. Let's not act like aliens. We've been talking about this, me, Seymour, Gianni, you on, in our private chats. We've been talking all about this. See, to be very sincere with you, yeah, I don't want to pay 100 million or 110 million, something like that, for
Agreed.
a 20-year-old. That he's one of the best in the business. Don't get that, twisted. Yeah, I like the guy.
Who are we talking about? Bruno.
I think he helps us in our attack. He revitalizes it. It changes it. And one of the things people are not really seeing is that him in a double pivot with Declan Rice, it's not about what he can actually achieve. It's about what you can achieve with the third midfielder in that team, bro.
Yep.
We have a guy who's not leaving the football club. If you want someone who is going to, be press resistant, do all that shenanigans on top, you can put him on top of that midfield pivot. If you want someone like an Eze, by the way, who won't be doing any defensive duties when Bruno and Declan Rice is down there, bro. And you have Bruno, who can also, he's a good, he retains the ball quite well. He holds on to the ball. He could transport the ball into the final third and into all those spaces. And then Eze now has a new lease of life. Eze doesn't have to transport the ball suddenly. He could just get into spaces, take snapshots from outside the 18-yard box, move into all these little pores and into all these little areas and cause damage. So it's also about what you can do with a third midfielder, though. Yeah. So it is what it is. He's very important. Let's don't get that twisted. But am I willing to pay 110 million for him? But
Exactly.
at this point, because we're lacking right now in signings, we need to give the fan base a big, that kind of big spark, big belief that, we just won the league. We need to double up on it. Yeah. So right now, I don't really care. If it's 100 million, okay, just call it
80 though. We're talking 80s, not 100.
Bro, you're not on the negotiating table, bro. You're not on the negotiating table.
Okay,
in closed doors, bro. And mind you, Arsenal are champions. And again, we don't keep our mouth shut. Yeah, we just declare that Arsenal just had a record revenue, bro. What do you think? You think these clubs are fools? They're gonna be sitting on that chair and say, you know what? Yeah, you guys are millionaires. You're the big boys of the league. You have spending power. You have money. Come on, bro. What are we talking about? They know you. They've heard
but this is where selling players and make a profit makes it easier to buy these type of players.
Every single ounce of money away from Arsenal. So, bro, you could be hearing 70, 80, all this kind of ridiculous prices, bro. I think you're going for 100 million, something close to 90 or something like that. And
but he wants to come to us, though.
So now you're an injury-prone midfield. Just walk straight into Tottenham, big-time money. So Arsenal, go to answer your question. I mean, clearly, Arsenal pay whatever, bro. See, even if you give them 80, they're still gonna turn it down, bro. They will need some, additives, some clauses into that pushes the price up to 90, 95.
Really?
Bro, let's be playing. We know how this business goes.
No,
So,
I agree with Tony on this.
Right,
That is just going to happen.
and pay the money. Go give them 80, 90, whatever they're demanding. Go. We need a big time signing, bro. We're champions. We need to accelerate that character that we have right now. Yeah, go push for the third to the next step. That's what we need. And imagine if you bring in someone like Bruno Guimaraes, bro. Vini will be in the bag in the next 2 weeks. It's gonna be looking like, oh, you know what? Yeah,
bro,
it's my brother. I have a family, bro.
It's about intention.
Vini's crying all the time, bro. He's whining, crying all the time. He doesn't have family in Real Madrid. They hate him. They hate his looks. He had to go under the knife, get a BBL chin. So see, people, I mean, someone like that, he needs family. If he comes down here, he will genuinely have family in Bruno. He will have family in Jesus. He will have family in Guimaraes, all these other Magalhaes, all these people. So it is what it is, bro. Get the Bruno signing over the line, people. That's what I want to see.
Doctor.
And I'm ready at any cost right now because I'm desperate for it.
Me and you, Doctor, we've been talking a lot on the Bruno thing, because we were like, why is it taking so long? Why are we one of these clubs that have to be the old school and take so long to get deals over the line? And we have the let's stay patient crew. Let's wait and see crew. What are we waiting to see?
Well, I mean, look, like any soap opera that you watch on TV, it doesn't climax until like the final scene, So I mean,
again.
Look,
it's coming like a series.
Look, like we have seen this club move at light speed form when it's a player that, for example, this manager wants. Like, for example, how long did it take us to sign Raheem Sterling or Nani Madueke after it was announced to the media? Serious question. It was like, what, 48 hours? Maybe 72 tops? So again, we do know how to, go at a very expedient pace, like when we want to. But when it comes to these big names, when it comes to these, I swear, get that Lacazette with cheekbones off my screen. Like, so look, I mean, like, we have seen across the years, right? Oh, when we were linked with CR7, when we were linked with Eden Hazard, when we were linked with Higuain, when we were linked with Suarez.
Big up Yasser TV. Big up Yasser TV.
Big up Yasser. Big up.
Thanks for the raid.
Hey, what's this? Here we go. Don't get me gassed, man. We're not witness.
No, they're just trolling us. They're just trolling.
Thanks, Yasser, for the raid.
Big up, Yasser.
But look, the only reason why things get drawn out is because we like to be in the conversation. We like to be in the buzz because that generates more clicks. It generates more engagement. But at the end of the day, and as I've said it before, like on different channels as well, like this fan base allows itself to be manipulated. They allow it. They willfully take down their pants and they willfully bend over a barrel and they say to Josh, "Hey Josh, do you mind doing me one?" Yeah, that's right. This fan base really loves to get fucking reamed from behind because every single time, I won't say every single time, but more often than not, overwhelmingly more often than not, we tend to have egg on our face at the end of it. Because remember that season when we were linked with Gonzalo Higuain, we ended up signing, was it Lucas Perez and Park Chu-young?
You're talking about 20 years ago. Bro, what are you talking about? Arsenal.
What I'm talking about, Tony, I am talking about themes, Tony. I'm talking about reoccurring themes that still have not left this club.
You know what, Dr. Seymour, I'll go spot with you on this one. Yeah? See, do you know why we never got Rodrigo? because man didn't want to come. Arsenal went to Real Madrid and said, hey, we want this guy. We spoke to Rodrigo. We didn't even go to Real Madrid at first, though. Yeah, we spoke to Rodrigo. Rodrigo said, you know what, yeah, I want to stay in Madrid. But what's the need of going for Rodrigo when he says he wants to stay at Madrid? Bro, you cannot
because it's paper talk. It makes Arsenal look like to be a desirable destination if big names are linked to the club.
We never had the pool we have right now. We're champions.
You
have been saying that Arsenal don't have world-class players. Yeah,
we brought in Ozil, Sanchez, and Aubameyang when we were winning fucking FA Cups. Like, we've always had
all around the place, going for big-time players, the best in the business, and you're still not happy. What do you want? Bro, see,
we have not brought in the big names. What are you talking about? Are you on Spice right now, Tony?
No, we just brought in Gyökeres. What are you talking about? People seem to
so now he's a big player. Now all of a sudden he's a big player. Because all last year everyone was saying, he's not as good as Sesko. He's not as good as 29. I mean, like, give me a break. Look,
so Gyökeres is not a big time player, bro.
I rate Gyökeres. A lot of people don't rate Gyökeres.
Oh, here we go again.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, but if Gyökeres, Tony, if Gyökeres was universally rated,
not world class. You claim declare rights on all these other players.
If Gyökeres was universally rated, they're
consistently being linked with the big boys in the business. And it doesn't do anything for you, bro. Bro, I'm not having it. Yeah, I'm not having it.
Okay, guess what? I don't care if you're not having it. Because I'm telling what reality is right now.
When David Oyston said, in that statement, he said it has already been agreed at all levels, bro. Listen. Okay. See, Chelsea fans in the building. Yeah, I know you guys like to hate. Yeah. But at all levels, Arsenal have already agreed. That means the manager is in on it. That means Andre Berta is in on it. That means Josh Kroenke is in on it. All of them. All these other people we have, they are in on it. Yeah? So that's the thing. When you're the champions, you attract big-time players, and we're in on it. Have patience. We'll go at it. Yeah,
Tony, the only thing that they are in on it collectively is pulling your pants down and bending over a barrel. That's the only thing that they're in on collectively right now.
Alvarez in. If it's a smoke screen for us to get Alvarez in, and a smoke screen for us to even get Bruno Guimaraes, bro, I'm totally okay with that, bro. If that's a smoke screen, I don't care, provided we get our targets in.
All right, Tony, on that note then, here's a question from Nems. Do you think Arsenal signs Vinny? And this is for everyone. We're a big team. We attract players, big players. Do you think Arsenal signs Vinny? Because at the weekend, dopamine. Just by the way of hearing Arsenal exploring the Vinny. I was going to call him Vinny Jones for a second.
Vinny Jr.
Vinny Jr. I don't see the chest and confidence now. The group chat went silent.
I think it's 60-40. 60% that he stays at Real, but 40% at Arsenal. 40% coming to Arsenal. And the reason why I think we will sign him is because, one, again, this is speculation, but I don't know what the situation is, and I don't think anybody knows what the situation is with Vinicius and Jose Mourinho. We all know the incident that happened with Benfica. We don't need to talk about it again because it was a stupid situation to even occur. However, we don't know if that's been made right or if it can be made right between those two. Number one. Number two, the bigger point on top of that for me is I think Vinicius Jr. has been thrown by the wayside by Real Madrid because of the arrival of Kylian Mbappe. Ever since Mbappe has come to Real Madrid has not played to the same level that they were before. On top of that, you have seen more conundrums with Vinicius Jr. than what it is with Mbappe. Now, as an outsider looking in, for me, if there was a player to leave Real Madrid, I think it should be Mbappe. Only because Vinicius Jr. has the trophies and everything with Real Madrid and has put in his work and has been the man to fly the flag for them, especially the last title that they won as far as La Liga and Champions League, because he was the main man. Kylian Mbappe, as far as that, we'll see with what happens. Back to the Arsenal thing, I think there's at least a 40% chance with us not knowing what the situation is right now, because, again, we are a big club. We are the Premier League champions, and why not? Why not go conquer the next top league? I mean, I think we can all agree here, Spain and England are the two best leagues in Europe. So if you can conquer the one league and win the Champions League, why not come to another team? And especially, listen, if Vinicius Jr. was to come to Arsenal and he delivered more Premier League trophies and above all the Champions League, Vinicius Jr. is going down in history as one of the best to ever put on an Arsenal jersey. There's just no debate about that from this point. So for me, I think it's a 60-40 thing. I still think that it's going to be a tall ask to pull Vinicius Jr. away from Real Madrid, only because it's Real Madrid. Let's all be honest. It's the biggest team in the world. The market and everything that comes with being at Real Madrid is just a different level to every other club. But I still think there is at least a 40% chance that Vinny Jr. can pop up at Arsenal. And I agree with what Tony said as well, to quickly cover the Bruno G thing. Bruno G needs to get done. That needs to get done.
ASAP.
Okay.
ASAP.
And exactly to what Tony said, I got no problem if it's $100 million deal with Bruno, as long as 15 to 20 million is in the add-ons and bullshit, and not asking for 80 of the 100 million down flat immediately. If you're telling me 80 million gets it over the line and then Newcastle comes up with whatever bullshit to fucking stack more money on it, then I personally don't care, because that's what if money. So again, at the end of the day, for me, I'm in a wholesale agreement with Tony on that with Bruno G. Pay the fucking money. Pay the fucking money.
Show the money.
And it's actually tied into what Paris Mandam is saying on here. If we got close to 800 million last year, a lot of this shit should be taken care of as far as whatever could be on back pay and everything else. So why are we penny pinching again? This is where the question needs to be put in. But let's all be honest here. If we go right now, if we find out in an hour or so that we threw 80 million down and we signed Bruno G, who the fuck is really fucking with us coming into this season? Number one, Bruno G unlocks the number 10 position. Let's all get one thing straight right now. The number 10 position has been the biggest problem with Arsenal in these last 2 years, regardless of the problem that we had with Havertz not finishing when we needed him to. But the number 10 not being further forward and being asked to do more defensive work is the biggest fucking problem when it comes to Arsenal's offense, because there is no true creator. If you look at where Eze and Odegaard get the ball, all of us has watched football for 20 plus years. How many good number 10s have you seen have to start the offense from your own fucking box? It's not supposed to happen, because of all the problems that we've had of making Declan Rice a box-to-box midfielder and asking Zubimendi to be the 6, or then moving Rice to the 6 and asking Zubimendi to be the 8, and a lot of times he didn't show up. Bruno G puts us on a different level. Number one, in my opinion, Declan Rice is top 3 number 6s in the world. You put him in his proper position and you get a guy who can carry the ball like Bruno G, win the ball like Bruno G, high up the pitch, and create like Bruno G. We don't have the second worst fucking offense in the last 10 years to win a Premier League. Let's all remember something here. The only team that's won a Premier League in the last few years that scored less goals than us was Leicester. Yeah. That is inexcusable for Arsenal to be scoring that little of goals. And especially this year, where we're already looking at injuries walking into the season, we need to know that our offense is going to score 80 plus goals this year in the Premier League, to where even if we do give up more goals this year because of injuries, we're covered because we straighten out the offense. Put the fucking money down and go buy Bruno G. Listen, all of the other fans have all said this across social media, whether you agree with them or not. If Arsenal gets Bruno G, we've even put a wider gap between us and the rest of the fucking teams to possibly go back to back this year. Spend the fucking money and go buy them.
See, Dr. Seymour, coming to this conversation, yeah. I mean, what's your own talk about Bruno G? How would he revolutionize this Arsenal midfield? What will he turn it into? What are the kind of like dimensions you want to see in that midfield if he comes into play? Do you think he's going to come in and sit on the bench? Because mind you, we still have some favorites in this team. Zubimendi, whether we like it or not, is still part and parcel of this team. He's Spanish. Just won the World Cup. Marino is also down here too. He's going nowhere. Yeah, where would he play? He's a typical midfielder. We've used him also, up front too. Where does all this other play? How do they fit in when we have Bruno Guimaraes coming up into this team? And don't you forget, Dr. Seymour, we also had Marcus Lewis Kelly, who had a very, very great end of the year season. Last season, brought up the goods too. Where do we fit all this in, Dr. Seymour?
Well, I mean, that's up to the manager. I don't think it's crystal that we're signing either player. I mean, I think we probably have maybe a 5% chance signing Vinny. It's still. I don't really buy all the gossip over it. Apart from what Gianni said, that Vinny would somehow just want to leave the biggest club in the world in Real Madrid to come to us, regardless if we're Premier League champions or not. This manager has already built a reputation around Europe that he does not get the best out of attackers. And additionally, he has an injury track record that spans around the earth, more than once. So, so it certainly has to come into contention whether or not players are going to potentially want to risk a career-ending injury just for the sake of, playing for Arsenal. So, that, and also, kind of ties into the whole, Bruno thing, we have, Newcastle have been quoting roughly 85 million. And it's also worth considering that I think Lyon still have a 15-20% sell-on clause as well, which is also probably why they're asking for a little bit more, just because they know that Lyon is going to be taking a portion of it. But at the end of the day, I've been saying in the group chat, throw the money down. I don't care. At this stage, the collective fan base of Arsenal has subsidized so many transfers at this club. So at this point, it's already money that we have already invested. This club is flush. If we are so financially, solvent and self-sufficient, we should be able to throw money down for players before we even sell anyone. But the fact of the matter is, it's July 27th. We still have not brought anyone in yet. There has been a lot of talk and a lot of speculation, as there always is every summer. But at the end of the day, we still haven't brought them in. We know that Bruno and Vinny would be raising the level of the players and positions that we currently have in our team. That goes without question. So as far as the midfield three is concerned, you can play two holdings with Rice and Bruno, with either then having an 8 and Lewis Skelly right in front of them. You can either have Eze even further up the pitch, but I think it's also worth considering that Rice is probably going to be completely knackered. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Bruno did happen to find his way into the club, that he would be starting in place of Rice at least for the first few months, just because he hasn't had any rest. So again, it's up to the club. It's up to the club to prove that they want to repeat. At the end of the day, we can be linked with every player in the world, but if we don't bring them in, it's just talk.
Let me stop you there as well, as you just mentioned that. Yeah, if we do not bring in Bruno, it's going to be an embarrassment. And I'll tell you something. Yeah, the Morgan Rogers deal. You can say yes, it was we didn't want to pay over the price, and I get that. But to not seal Bruno after all of this talk and all of this, it will be an embarrassment. And you know what? Bruno, for me, is probably the most important signing right now.
But again, guys, are we being paranoid about this whole thing about Bruno Guimaraes, though? Which is the other team? Which other team is going all out for him the way Arsenal is going all out for him? Do we have concerns about any other team gazumping?
Exactly this question. Exactly this question underneath.
That's a question.
No, I'm saying if Rodri leaves, I would be concerned about City jumping back into the conversation with that. Chelsea, I don't believe in Manchester United going after Bruno, because the thing with Man United is this: United needs a straight out number 6. If they go get Bruno G to be their number 6, then they're misprofiling him, and thank God for us, because it's going to add to even more the reason why I don't think United are finishing top 4 this year. That's number 1. The only concern for me is Chelsea, or not Chelsea, I'm sorry, excuse me, is City. The reason why I'm worried about City is this. If they sell Rodri's one of their highest earners. So again, like what I was saying before, when you sell players and they're on the high end of the books, it's even more money that comes flush back into the club to where it's easier to get a transfer done. So if they get rid of Rodri, yes, I would think City is the team that I would be worried about going after Bruno G. Because again, I don't know about you guys, but if you're telling me it's going to be Reinders and frickin' Elliot Anderson as the midfield, you might as well already say that Maresca ain't going to do shit with fucking City this year. So if Rodri's not there, especially considering the fact that Bruno is gone as well. So at the end of the day, for me, City is the team that I'm worried about getting Bruno, because Bruno, unfortunately, would add a lot of firepower, not only to us, but he adds a lot of firepower to City, especially if City are going to play the more direct football that we've seen under Maresca at times at Chelsea. Not saying that they're automatically going to do it, but Bruno G does add more of a direct element than what we saw from City last year. That's the reason why I want us to get this Bruno deal off as soon as possible, because as soon as you get Bruno off the market, who the fuck is really there that's going to make City a contender like that if they lose Rodri? You're talking players.
So you don't think we're home and dry with this, though? Because I'm not seeing any other movement from any other team. So you just don't think we're home and dry yet?
That's
not
the
just
thing.
yet.
That's the thing.
Not just
Tony.
yet.
Like that's the thing. Like on the surface, it has the facade that we are doing something with Bruno G. But as we also know, and also as we have seen, when we move for players that we end up signing, we end up moving very quietly. Like we don't make a whole media spectacle out of it. And as do other clubs. I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if Villa even tried going in for Bruno, just to reinvest the money that they earned up. Like from Morgan Rodgers. I mean, like again, like we have been going through this Bruno cycle for the last month, and previously we were saying, oh well, we can't get any deals done during the World Cup, despite the fact that Elliot Anderson was signed during the World Cup. I mean, like look, like if the club wants the players so much, they have to throw the money down and get him. But the reason why I think Bruno is going to stay is because they already let Tonali go.
And they have to get Europe this year. The other thing too about that too is Newcastle has to get Europe this year. If they don't qualify for Europe 2 years, if they don't qualify for Europe for back-to-back years, that project is completely done and nobody's going to want to care about Newcastle. And then you're going to see a fire sale of players next year, and Newcastle will finally dissolve right back into the mid-table club consistently, or bottom half club where they were before all the money got dumped in. Right, exactly. The thing about it with Bruno is this: Bruno is the game changer. I agree with Waffledon. Vinny would be the big cherry on top if we got him over the line. I think if you go get Bruno, and as we said, Tony, if it's $100 million deal, but 20 or 15 of it is add-ons, I don't give a fuck. Get the player over here. If you're able, but the flip side of that is this: if you save money, because here's the other thing that we could do too. We don't have to shell out all this cash this year. Again, if you go get Bruno and you go get another decent winger that is going to that's going to add to the goal tally and everything else, why spend the crazy amount of money on Vinny and go after him next year when he's for free? I'd rather do that at that point and guarantee that we brought in 2 good players. You brought Bruno G in, and let's say we could pick a winger out of any league that's going to add goals to the team, as well as what potentially Solis can do, and maybe Gabriel Martinelli finally knocks the cobwebs out of his head for 2.5 years and starts scoring goals as well, to where we get more money for him next season as well, to where it's an even easier transition to go get Vinny. I'm fine with that. But for me, Bruno G got to get done within this week, because the longer this whole situation between Rodri and Real Madrid keeps going, we all know what Real Madrid does. We all know Real Madrid will get business over the line. And especially, it's been 2 years since they won La Liga. It's been 2 years since they've won Champions League. You know Florentino Perez, crazy ass, is not going to slow down. He's going to go on and win, which is why I would be concerned about getting this Bruno G deal over the line.
But again, see, just before we move away from this Vinny topic here, I mean, Gianni, you've just said you give it a 40, 60-40, you're looking at 40 down there. But I think that the percentage is even more higher than that, bro. Just today, we've just gotten news that Real Madrid have closed in on that deal with Ian Diamonde. They've signed him per se. Yeah, that deal is sealed and done. He takes care of the left wing for them. He's a great player. I mean, of that, maybe not Vinny profile though, but I mean,
he has to grow into that still. But I get with what you're saying.
Exactly, is in that shout for it. Yeah. Now they're about tying up. I mean, there's talks out there about Rodri leaving Man City for them, even if Rodri is injured. But you know what that means. So it means that Real Madrid will be tying up funds into these businesses. They're doing about, with Ian Diamonde, Rodri. There's some other shout or some other players are looking at, like Olise or whatnot. That leaves Vini completely driven to the curb at Real Madrid. Yeah,
it could, but you also don't know.
They can't afford to lose Vini on a free next season, bro. It's gonna be bonkers if they let him go.
If any club can afford to lose a player on a free, it's Real Madrid. They make over $1 billion a year. They're the only club that generates $1 billion, so they can lose a player on the free. It's not going to affect them. I get with what you're saying.
Time they lost a player on a free, though, like that.
Oh, they've let a lot. Well, it was their decision to let them go, but I get with what you're saying. I get with what you're saying.
But not Vini, the kind of player, though.
No, but again, the question. Yeah. But again, here's the other thing, though, too, that we have to add to this conversation. And you were very right to bring up Diamonde. The flip side is this. They also still have somebody who's recovering from injury that could end up being the sacrificial lamb, which is Rodrigo. That's the other thing about this scenario that you have to look into. They could, if they agree with Vinny on this contract. Let's say Real Madrid agree with Vinny on this contract. It's almost guaranteed that Rodrigo is going to be gone as soon as he's healthy again. Yeah. Which I wouldn't be opposed if we reignited our interest in fucking Rodrigo. Again, he's better than what we have. He's better than what we have, whether we like it or not. I wouldn't be opposed to it. And you could even spice it up to where, listen, the man's coming off an injury. There's nothing guaranteed, but you need him off the books. Drop the price tag down.
You want to go for a player who has rejected your club once, who doesn't like England?
He rejected the club before there was more competition now.
He doesn't want to come to.
But that was last year. But that was last year. Now, as you pointed out, there is a new kid on the block that was $100 million. And we all know Florentino Perez and how he runs business. He will not be afraid to alienate somebody to get rid of them. So again, it's something that you have to wait and see and plot in order for that to happen. I hear with what you're saying that he didn't want to come to Arsenal. Again, that was because look who was in competition for his position. It's Brahim Diaz. He's never losing his position to Brahim Diaz. Now, you got a 19-year-old who just lit up the German league, and if he does 80% of what he did in the Bundesliga in his first year with Real Madrid, and Rodrigo's coming off an injury and doesn't hit the ground running, you never know. You never know. It's the way to keep the options available for us there. That's all I'm saying with it. There's different ways to pick and choose on how you can go about it. Just because one door closed doesn't mean there's not going to be another one that opens up down the line that still benefits Arsenal. That's all I'm pointing out with that move. But again, like you said, Vinny, listen, if I'm putting myself in Vinny's shoes, just the hire off of Jose after all that bullshit, I would want out. Just after the hiring of Jose Mourinho, after that whole stupid situation, and him saying the dumb shit that he said, I would want out. Again, that's the reason why I'm already at 40%. The reason why I'm still majority in favor of Real Madrid, it's Real Madrid, bro. Again, we can say whatever we want. It's Real Madrid.
The only thing with Vinny, I think Vinny still thinks, that there's some hope there. Maybe him and Mourinho will patch up or anything. I think he's going to do his utmost to stay at Real Madrid, but something.
Not only
in the
that, bro, there was a
negotiation-
petition. There was a petition of the Madrid Ultras. I don't know if that many people know this. There
Yeah,
was a petition put out by the Madrid Ultras, over 300,000 signatures by Madrid fans to choose Vinny over Mbappe. That's the other key thing to why Vinny could stay at Real, is that the fans could get on the bullshit. Because remember, they got Mbappe for free. They
yeah.
could sell Mbappe for whatever they want because they're paying him astronomical fucking money a week. So again, it's the same concept. If you sell Mbappe back to, let's say they sell him to Bayern Munich, you could sell Mbappe for 50 million. You're still getting close to 90 because of how much money he makes. So again, there's different ways to look at it on how it goes. Again, if you ask Madrid fans, he's the preferred player to stay over Mbappe. That's the only reason why I still got majority of Vinny staying at Madrid.
Can
That's
I just
it.
say something, G, yeah? The only problem that I have with this deal, yeah, or with this non-deal is we're putting all our eggs in one basket, yeah, and then what about other targets that suddenly get swept up, and then we're just left with pittance? That's what I don't like about this type of deal, because it's like we're putting everything into it, and I get it, but what happens if 2 weeks time or a week or whatever, Vinny says, I'm staying at Real Madrid? We spent all that time. We should be like, there should be links to other left wingers right now.
Arsenal
Saying,
fans.
if Vinny's not available,
Done,
we're
Arsenal
going for this
fan.
guy.
See, bro, we need to be in the conversation of this kind of players, though.
I know, but if he's
the
but I'm saying
we
there
have to
needs
be
to
in
be
the
alternatives as
conversation.
well.
You can't tell me that a market opportunity for getting probably the best left wing we've seen in over 20 years.
Tony always misses the point when I'm saying something.
You never listens to the
we have
the right to show face in this kind of conversation. And again, Waffle, you've said this numerous times on your channel, bro. Why aren't we in the conversations for the big ones in the business? And suddenly, this is my problem with Arsenal fans here. People, typical, yeah?
Did you guys hear what I said?
We complain we don't have world-class players. We complain we're not in the conversation for the big guys in the business. Suddenly, Arsenal make a splash of it and say, you know what, yeah, Vini, we're in for you. And suddenly, all these excuses is coming. Why aren't you looking at other okay, now you want to go below the targets we're keeping, up appearances on your channel for, bro. So, bro, see, this is a market opportunity, bro, to get probably the best left wing player that we could ever get in our lives, people. Yeah, this is it.
Come on, Vinny's not better than Alexis. No, Vinny's not better than
Alexis. I said it because Vinny is the best, bro. Vinny is the best.
You've missed everything,
and we know what we're getting. There's no acclimatization period. And this is the difference between what we're talking about, yeah, and any other player that we can look at apart from Vinny. The thing there is that if Vinny comes, he hits the ground running. We know this, bro.
Look what you just said.
We know he hits the ground running. We know what he brings to the team. We know he's going to get a pinch of those goals. It's part of our problem from the left wing, bro.
Tony, we're not disagreeing with what you're saying. The question that he asked was, right, I understand that. But the question that Waffle asked was, if Vinny isn't going to give us an answer and it gets dragged out, should we remain in this for too long if it starts costing us other spots? That was what his question was.
How is it being dragged out? This is the problem. How is it being dragged out? Where were we linked to Vinicius Jr.? The news just came up a couple of days ago.
I know, but what his question was,
he's just tying up his deal with Real Madrid. It hasn't drawn up for 2 weeks. It hasn't drummed up for 1 week. Why are we, bro? Why are we? Oh God, Arsenal fans, bro. What, bro? What? It's not even up to 4 days, people, and it's already a drag for long. Bro, come on, man, don't do this. Come on, man.
So okay, how long
it's
you
not
expecting?
even up to 1 week.
How long you expecting? Okay, Tony. Quick question. How long in your mind are you expecting this to go to where Vinny doesn't actually make a decision? Are you going right up to the end of the window, the transfer window?
No,
are you happy to wait?
No, we're in a good position for that one. Because Real Madrid is already in that conversation right now, and as we speak, to tie up those deals with Iyad Monday, who is already he's coming already. Yeah. So this week, I mean, I'm talking of from now till the end of the week, it will take shape what Real Madrid wants to look like. When they tie up that deal with Iyad Monday, yeah, that will happen this week because they've already agreed everything. It's just for the player to turn up at Madrid.
Diomande can play the right as well, yeah. So they can effectively have Diomande
and there's still conversations about that Rodri deal. When they get this done, people, it is what it is. Vini is free to go. Man is free to go. And you know what? Arsenal is not such a bad proposition for him.
I'm not saying that. But there is a world where he can stay at Real Madrid as well.
About 3 seasons, 4 seasons, get into the semi-finals, finals. People, they're looking at this consistent. We have a consistent manager in terms of it's stable. He's a stable manager at Arsenal. He's looking at this stability. If he looks at Man City, is looking at 116 charges breathing down his neck. He doesn't want to be, in and about any of that mess. Is looking at sincerely one of the most best football clubs run sustainably that has been in the Champions League a final, and in the Champions League top stages consistently challenging for titles, won the title last season, and can stump up the big cash for him. And that has already been agreed at all levels. So it is what it is at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, so going back to my point again, and I'll reiterate it to you again, Tony. If, for example, for whatever reason, Vinny decides to stay at Real Madrid, what what happens then? Because I'm all about realistic, realism, and yes, there is a chance that we can sign Vinny. Yeah, there is a small chance in this window, but there's also a chance that he might stay at Real Madrid as well. And we've already seen the fan expectation already going crazy, dopamine, all of this kind of stuff already. Which, yeah, I get it, but I'm not going to be doing all of that until I see Vinny holding up the shirt. So once again, this week, is it this week?
This week he's supposed to go talk to Madrid.
Will Vinny, is it this week? Is it next week?
Yeah, this week clarifies a whole lot of that for us.
Yeah, this week.
It clarifies a whole lot of that.
So we need to wrap up Bruno this week.
We can project.
Correct.
Yeah.
So wrap up Bruno.
Then next week we project. And next week, if we've not progressed in the talks, then we leave. We go for other targets. But again, what I'm seeing here is if Vinny finally agrees that deal with Real Madrid, Arsenal might be staring down the barrel of looking at Rashford to come in that left wing position at the end of the transfer window.
So
now you know what? Now that sounds exactly like being linked to Gonzalo Higuain for an entire summer, then just to sign Park Chu-young and Lucas Perez. That would be the same thing as being linked to Vinny to then sign Marcus Rashford.
He'd be our highest paid player. He's on £350,000 a week.
Theme. And the one thing that none of us are talking about is, again, going back to our wage structure. Are we just suddenly going to not only break the bank, break the English transfer record fee of 130, 140 million plus, but then also give Vinny 400, 500,000 pounds a week? Like, first off, does that even seem remotely even viable at a club like ours, which we know is so, financially self-sufficient and sustainable? But I'll even do you one better. If we are actually considering to throw 140 million at one player, why not just go to Paris and try to sign Kvara? Because honestly, I don't really think that Vinny's going to do too well in this league. I don't.
I think Vinny would tear. I actually think Vinny would tear the Premier League up. The question I have for Vinny isn't so much of the isn't so much of the Premier League. I think he would destroy the Premier League if I'm being quite honest with you. My
Really?
bigger concern about Vinny is him versus Arteta. And the only reason why I say
Exactly.
that is because of Arteta's brand of football, because of the point that you made earlier. If we're being honest, Saka is the only out and out winger that we've had of the last few years of the starting 11. Trossard was a false nine secondary striker. He was never a winger, got put out at a wing to do a job for Brighton. Same thing with Arsenal. He did well, and that's why we kept him out there. We all know Gabriel Martinelli is more of a striker by trade than
No,
he
he's
is a
more of a
winger.
winger, but he's not a good one.
Correct. Well, if you're looking at it, none of our wingers are really that good. Really, you could honestly say the only other out and out winger that we have that's been consistent is Solus, and he just got here. Other than that,
Ranieri, you speak to Ranieri,
I
he'd
mean,
probably
look,
be up
no,
the
Noni
swinger.
Madueke hasn't put up numbers since he was at PSV. That was 4 going on 5 years ago. Hasn't put up numbers like that. Solus has put up numbers the last 2 years for Club Brugge. Whether we like it or not, he has been more consistent than him. The question, I think, is not the question of what would Vinny do in the Premier League. I think Vinny is a walking 25, 30 goal a season guy in the Premier
Easy,
League, in my
easy,
personal opinion.
easy.
The question that I have is Vinny going to be doing the track back work as an entire unit defensively? That's where I don't think that's going to
Now
fly.
that's where the
Now,
problem is.
now,
Now that's
the
where the
question
problem
with that is that does that ultimately mean that if you're going to get these top tier players, you have to let go of a control freak manager like Arteta and look for more of a man manager, specialized manager outside of the tactician that Arteta is? That to me is the ultimate question if you get Vinny. Because I personally, at watching Madrid the way that I do not see Vinicius Jr. tracking back and playing as deep as we've seen the asking of Martinelli and Trossard. I personally don't see that. Now, the good thing about it, if it did happen, is I think all of us could agree we would like to see us play some more expansive football. We would still like to see the quality and defense that we've had, but we would like to see that goal tally go up. That's going to be the ultimate question if you go get a guy like Vinny. Because if you get a guy like Vinny and he comes in, everything's all gravy the first 5 weeks. We know how this always goes. It was the same, for a perfect example, it was the same thing with Zlatan when he went to Barcelona from Inter. Everything was all gravy. And then when shit started to hit the fan, then he was kicked to the side by Guardiola, and we all know what happened from there. The question then asked for Vinny is Vinny going to be the type of guy that enhances Arsenal going forward? And the manager understands that he has to let go of the over controlling and has to allow some of our players to express themselves, especially a player like Vinny, because that's what he needs to do in order to put his emphasis on a game, is to be allowed to express himself. If that happens, it also shows progression of where we're at as a club, but it also shows progression of where Arteta is as a manager. If Arteta says no, you're going to do the exact same thing that Trossard and Martinelli and everybody else has done, then that more so leaves us in the idea of where this club is. And that is,
I
if the
don't
club
think.
does not, if the players do not match what Arteta wants to play his brand of football, then we may not be able, whether we like it or not, we may not be able to go after that top tier talent if they're not going to be okay with playing that brand of football. Now, this is an interesting point of this conversation because if you remember, it wasn't Ornstein, it wasn't Fabrizio. I believe it was Sammy Mockbell that said it. I could be wrong, but somebody out of this whole conundrum of what came out of the Rodgers choosing Chelsea, one of those reporters, and I'll send it in the group when I find it, but one of those reporters said that Rodgers was not okay with playing the way that Arteta wanted to play. That now, if that turns out to be true, if you don't think that works for Rodgers, it for damn sure ain't going to work with Vinny. Because Vinny, as Tony rightly said, is by far the best left wing in the world right now. Vara is very good. Don't get me wrong, and I love me some Vara, especially him coming from Napoli. But Vinny is just different. Vinny is just different. And
Johnny, take what you hear from these blogs and all this,
that's exactly that, Tony. That was going to be my next point. Is that it's you have to wait and see.
Couple of months ago, yeah, this Morgan guy was saying that Arsenal was the best team in the world, and suddenly he turned his back at getting a transfer to Chelsea and said that Chelsea is the biggest club in the. Bro, come on, bro. We've seen this script all before. It's all lies. So all these things can come. But again, see, look, I just want to chip something from you and ask you through a rebuttal right now. if you get someone like a Vinicius Jr. in your team, yeah, or a possession-based team, yeah, does he have to do that tracking back that much though? When you know what he brings into the team, or a possession-based team, we're not going to be in such situations all the time though. Yeah, because we finally have someone who could actually create magic though. Yeah, and help us.
Here's my
more than we should be able to retain the ball and go back, and you won't even need to track back when you're offensively minded. So don't you think his game would actually change that mindset of actually tracking back and all that bullshit?
Yeah, quick scenario. Hold on. Quick
scenario. Go ahead, Doc.
You know, like, if y'all remember, like when Eze was placed on the left, I think it was the game against Aston Villa, when Eze was played as a winger, he had to do those defensive duties, and that ended up like leading to Aston Villa's first goal. Am I recalling that right from last year?
Yes. You're talking about the 2-1 loss? Yes.
Correct.
When he got subbed into the left wing, yes.
So again, so this whole, you know, like we play like possession based football. I mean, like I'm not going to hear it just because like we are like there are going to be times where we are not going to be in possession, where we are going to have to be playing defensively, and we also you know again like this like players already know what this manager's reputation is. Some players are just going to say, you know what, I'm good with all of that. I am good because I'm enjoying my football here. You know, like Diamande may end up being the Rodrigo replacement just because Rodrigo just had a bad injury. Like there is absolutely no guarantee that Vinny even wants to come to Arsenal, let alone England. I mean, like the success rate for Brazilian wingers, like in the league over the course of history, hasn't really been that great. Rafinha has probably been like one of the few outliers, but overall, like Brazilians don't like coming to England just because of either like how poor the weather is, how physical the league is in contrast to say like La Liga. There are still so many factors that we are not considering. Like is Vinny a good player? Yes. Is he definitely top 5 wingers in the world? Yes. But that does not mean that it's just going to be an automatic shoo-in, considering who the manager is and also how we play. Unless the manager is somehow just going to say, you know what, I am going to slightly tweak things, even though what worked for last year brought me my only success to date after spending over £1 billion. Now I'm going to slightly change it up.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
I just don't see that changing.
No, you're wrong. He has the FA Cup. He has the FA Cup. Yeah, the oldest cup game in the world.
He won the FA Cup. He won the FA Cup, Tony. After
he's correct on all these things.
Yeah, Tony. He won the FA Cup before he spent 1.3 billion pounds.
That is true.
You come correct.
That is true.
Bro, see, he's won that, bro. Yeah. Let's go.
Before he spent,
he won it, but he didn't spend when he took over. He didn't spend anything on it.
Over £1 billion. What are you trying to defend him?
You should on us Arsenal fans, bro. Yeah, he's won the FA Cup, the oldest cup game in the world, and he's won the Premier League to cap that
Playing
up.
expensive
Let's
football.
don't do all the shenanigans we're doing, bro. Come on, man.
He's not doing any shenanigans. He didn't spend in the FA Cup. He took over in December. Everything was getting shut down. 2 months later, he wasn't able to spend. He wasn't given the opportunity to spend in the winter transfer before he won the FA Cup. He is correct in that. All the money that Arteta has spent, the only trophy that he has won since been given the availability to spend is this title. That is true. Back to what you were saying, Tony, do I think he won't have to track back as much? No, because I think we'll play. This is why I think the Bruno G deal is very important, because that is going to give us more of the time to be able to be a more possession-based team. The other thing about Vinny as well is now there's not going to be anybody complaining about low blocks, because Vinny should be given free reign to dance at everybody if they're going to be playing low blocks against.
You don't pay that amount of money for a player to micromanage them, man.
Huh?
You don't pay that amount of money for a player to micromanage them. Yeah, Vinny is the superstar, not Arteta here.
Agreed, but again, the situation. See here, again, when we talk about the playing style, if you get a player like Vinny Jr. to your degree, you pay that much money to not micromanage. Are we going to stop doing the nonsense of where we scored 1 goal and then the next 20 to 30 minutes we just see it out? That has to stop as soon as you sign Bruno G and Vinny.
Again, I hear it, but have you also thought about that perspective that maybe we don't have the players to actually sustain that kind of football you're talking about, that kind of playing style you're talking about? We have
I think we do.
Like Noni Madueke. They can't sustain that kind of track back, go forward, track back, go. They can't sustain it, yeah, and they can't even sustain attacking either, though, and give you something effective going forward. So when we're saying people like Vinny coming to play, Bruno Guimaraes coming to play, we're looking at two players at that caliber that can give us the best. They can retain the ball. They can give us something going forward even more better and make other players around them even more better and more effective going forward. So suddenly, even if we have our back four that looks so solid when Saliba comes back to play, yeah, and we have a midfield that will be shored up with Bruno, and we have someone like Vinicius Jr. who will be doing his stuff down the flanks down there. We already have Saka, who's causing the damage altogether, and have a Gyökeres who will just be putting in the goals. Suddenly, we don't need to be tracking back. We just need to be balanced to play.
100%. But again, the question with that is,
I don't think Martinelli can sustain attacking football. This is what I'm saying. I don't think
100%.
I don't think Noni Madueke can sustain attacking football, bro. They have to track back and help back if you're not attacking them. That's what I'm saying.
Agreed.
I thought that Mikel Arteta never had those kind of players that can be able to put us on an advantage attacking-wise, sustainably. And maybe that's why he's using them the best way he knows how to use them, which is by tracking back them.
Here's the thing with that I would only push back on that is I would then go to the Aubameyang situation. Because Oba should have never been moved from the striker position in the first place. He should have never been moved to the left wing position to be asked to track back. That's the only example that I'm going to use to where that's where that sticks up. Because listen, I don't care what nobody says. The man has scored over 420 career goals. The man is a top tier striker. You don't take somebody like that out of their position and do what they did where the fallout came. Because that's what stopped Oba from scoring a lot more goals in that season. Because if you look at his goals per game ratio that season compared to the rest, being put out of position is the only thing that shows why that happened. For me, I hear with what you're saying with that is saying, okay, these players cannot continually sustain offense. I agree with that. I agree with that. But there are certain games where we played inferior teams where we should have never let up. There's a lot of 1-0 wins that we had this season where we should have not have let up. The 2-2 draw against Wolves, we should have never let up against that shit team. That's one of those teams now where if you get a guy like Bruno G and Vinny, you don't let up. We should be blowing the doors off them shit teams 6-0.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly like what's coming up right now. Coventry, Hull, all them fucking dog ass shit teams that are coming up. If you get a guy like Vinny and Bruno in there, I want to see 70% possession the whole fucking game, and I want to see 4 or 5 goals. Because if you're telling me we scored 2 goals, but both times we scored 2 goals, we're sitting back. Vinny gets to sit on the top on the 50-yard line, but Gyökeres is coming back to do work. We're just making an exception for one guy and still trying to do the same thing, which is not going to work. Because the way it worked for us last season is we defended in unison and we went forward in unison. If you're going to do like what Tony's saying, if you want balance, for me, this is an easy situation if you get Vinny and Bruno. You play 4-3-3. Eze gets to cheat up when we are in possession of the ball to where he moves into the number 10 position. Rice needs to be the anchor as the number 6. Again, I don't care what nobody says, especially an old school English style number 4. There isn't too many better than Rice in the world right now. Yeah. Box to box, Rice ain't even top 10 midfielders if you're asking box to box, in my opinion. Yeah. Bruno G is damn sure over there. So again, if you have the situation set up when everybody's healthy and you can play that, there's no reason why Arsenal can't be a city-like team where every game, unless it's one of the bigger teams, if it's not City or Liverpool, really, to be honest with you, all the rest of the games, we should be having 60+% possession and not letting up and playing more defensive at any time against that, because now you have the players to go forward and really play that old school open attacking Arsenal football.
And people, that is the reason why we should go buck wild on this Bruno G. That's why I've agreed personally, internally in my heart, that we should even go 100 for this guy right now, because I'm overlooking what we're going to spend for what we're going to gain, the quality we're going to gain, what he's going to bring to that third spot in the midfield. That's what I'm looking at right now. I think just imagine the powers we get with the third midfielder playing Bruno Gomes and Rice in the double pivot, bro. Yeah, it's going to be people. We can sit back, chill, relax. It's either Odegaard comes to his thing. It's either we say, oh, okay, Eze, come do your thing. It's either, bro, anyone. Bruno G is #1 target. Bro, even more than Vini for me right now, bro. #1 target. And please, if it's gonna take 100 million to do it, I've totally agreed. Let's do it, bro. It matters right now, bro. It matters now, bro. Yeah, guys. I just want to ask this. Yeah, before the Waffle Don will try and round up things or ask some other question. If for some reason, because we know Arsenal, and this is where someone like Dr. Simo would smile and say, you know, Daniel has come to judgment, but it is what it is. Yeah. If this whole smoke screen, yeah, with Vinicius Jr., yeah, has died down and Arsenal don't get him, because in as much as we have chest, or I have chest, you know, say for myself about this Vinicius Jr. thing, there's still that, you know, that part of Dr. Samo, you know, running through my head right now that says, you know what, yeah, probably maybe this might not happen. And there's a possibility that might not happen. To be very factual and say the truth, there's a very big possibility it doesn't happen. Who do we go get, yeah, to help us out in that left? Because we've totally agreed right now that Solis cannot be the one spearheading our left wing. Yes, we have Martinelli, but we know he stinks up the place occasionally. Yeah, more often than not. Yeah. Will you guys be able to look at Rashford and say, you know what? Yeah, Rashford. Okay, you can come on loan. Yeah, the usual thing you do with Barcelona, usual thing you did with Aston Villa. Come in, give us, you know, help us out in that left wing. People, last season, bar left wingers, bar Vara, bar maybe slightly Doku, who had a more explosive season on the left-hand side than Rashford. I'm just throwing that out there, people, just to muddle the waters.
How do we go from wanting Vinny for whatever 150 million?
I've answered that, and that's not the question. We've said that there's a part in our head that tells us that maybe Vinny might not come. So that answers that. So throw that all away. If we are not
anyone
getting
above
Vinny,
Rashford at that level,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Who, apart from Rashford, yeah, or even if Rashford is in that conversation, let's talk it out right now. Who can we bring in that left wing that can do a job for us? Mostly since we know we cannot get Vinicius Jr. totally. And why I mentioned Rashford was because if you remove Vara and you remove maybe Doku, yeah, last season, he had a tremendous season, bro, at Barcelona. The kind of goals he was scoring.
Yeah, but
so that's just what I'm saying.
I think the reason why Rashford was able to put up the numbers that he played is because it is Barcelona. If you now Aston Villa, he was playing a lot more on the right-hand side. If you remember when he was at
Villa, he put up numbers and assists at Aston
He
Villa.
He did.
Yeah.
The question for me with Rashford is this: am I really trying to ignite a 28, going to be 29-year-old Manchester United reject that's on £350,000 a week? My personal opinion is no. If I'm going to shell out that big of a salary, I'm going into the market and looking at other players. For one, Alex Baena was the starting left winger that just won a World Cup for Spain. I'm more interested in going to Atletico Madrid to go buy him and taking a chance on him than a what if but and maybe with Rashford, which again is £350,000. Again, my worry with Rashford is the money side of things, because I don't.
That Martinelli though.
But Martinelli's half of what Rashford is on. I can tolerate Martinelli. I'm not. If Rashford comes into Arsenal right now and he doesn't do half of what he did at
I'll tell
Barcelona,
you someone
we are
who's
all
good.
going to be chasing that scumbag back to
I'll tell you
Manchester
someone who's
United
decent.
for
I'll tell
finessing
you
us for
someone's
that much
decent. I'll
money.
tell you
That's why I'm
someone's
not even
decent.
trying to look at that.
I'll tell you someone who looks decent. That Mbaye kid for Paris.
Who?
Is it Mbaye? For Paris, PSG?
Ndiaye.
No,
Ndiaye.
Mbaye.
Okay, at Bayern.
Mbaye. No, he's at PSG.
Oh, the young kid you're talking about.
Yeah.
I could see him, but again, I'm talking about somebody that's going to make us win now. I'm not talking about what if, buts, and
That's
maybes.
potential. Yeah,
that's
potential.
yeah. See, I'm done with potential. I'm done with
ready-made.
potential signings. Like what we're doing, like what we're doing with these youth kids that we've signed. Cool. Get them for the low. Put them in the youth academy. Start getting them their reps that they need at the young age, and then we develop them and see what happens as far as that.
This guy.
See, my thing with here's the thing though with Nusa. Unless you guys haven't been paying attention, there's only two players that have left RB Leipzig that have panned out. That's Danny Olmo and Szoboszlai. That's it. That's it. Every other sorry ass piece of shit player that came from that club is a money grab. Let's all remember Timo Werner. What he did at Chelsea for 60 million and was god awful. And Nusa, as young as he is, he's had 2 major knee surgeries already. I'm not taking a chance on him. I'm not taking a chance on him either. Again, Alex Baena did it at Villarreal. He went over to Atletico Madrid. Yes, he didn't win with Atletico, but he was the starting left winger for a World Cup winning side Spain and looked damn good at it. You can't tell me with his playing style, the way he was feeding Marino when Marino would come in for Spain, or the way he was feeding Yamal, that you can't tell me his passing ability, we're not going to get more goals for Gyökeres. That is why I'm not. Yes, you did it for a month. What did RB Leipzig do? Bring up the 2 injuries that he's had at Leipzig.
And again, Moscuna, the World Cup is clearly.
Here. Does anybody remember James Rodriguez? James Rodriguez balled out for a month and cost 85 million. After 2 years in Madrid and 2 years at Bayern, what did he do after that? Nothing. Again, I'm not one of. What has Enzo Fernandez done from a World Cup buy for Chelsea for 125 million? Nothing.
Exactly.
I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick. You know, the biggest problem with football nowadays is one person has a one-off year or one good month, and now everybody thinks we need to spend the whole house to go get that fucking player when they haven't done more than 90 days worth of work. I'm sorry. No, I want proven players. Baena balled out for 2 years at Villarreal. He balled out at Atletico Madrid. Those are the types of players that I want. I'm not looking at RB Leipzig no more. I'm sorry. RB Leipzig was when Arsenal was just starting with Arteta. We won the fucking league. We're not looking at players at that caliber. I want players that are playing at the likes of an Atletico Madrid, a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, an Inter, a Bayern Munich, or maybe one of the players that's developing from one of the other big 6 teams that they are not going to be able to hold on to. I'm sick and tired of looking at these dog shit clubs that have nothing to offer and have such a bad track record of shit players. They're not worth the investment. I'm sorry, they're not.
So who is there?
I'd rather go get Njai from Everton. I would rather go get Njai from Everton, who's proven 2 years in the Premier League. I understand that, but I'm saying that's somebody who I'm looking at, not Nusa. Here's another thing. How many players have actually come over from Germany and hit the ground running in the Premier League? Because we just saw what happened with Wirtz, and Wirtz was 125 million. So again, that's my point.
The most deadly player that's come to the league and done anything is Kai Havertz, and that tells you the whole story. So I'm glad. But Paris, you said something about Diamonde. Don't compare Nusa to Diamonde, bro. Come on, bro. Diamonde, I think, is levels above Nusa. For me, with what he can bring to the team, bro. That's why Madrid is totally okay to spend over 100 G's. 100 bags, for this guy. So there's a reason why they're going for Ian Diamonde rather than Nusa. And what Gianni raised, and again, it flew through your head, people. Because Gianni always has this occasional bombs he throws and it flies over our heads at times. He just told you that guy's done 2 major surgeries as young as he is. people. That tells you a story long term, maybe not in World Cup circles, because probably that's just a month job. Yeah. But in the long run, in club football, it does matter because there'll be occasional niggling injuries that would, come out from those peak time surgeries you've done at such a young age. So, I mean, look
And
at
Tony,
it.
add to it. Look at the way the injury bugs hit us. The way we play football. Look at how the injury bugs hit us. You mean you're
Exactly,
willing?
bro.
You
We're
mean
so
you're willing to
unlucky with
tell me
injuries.
you're going to risk 40 million on a guy with an injury history, bring him to Arsenal where we already have problems with the injuries, and now you're going to tell me that's okay? Nah, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm done looking at these small. Big clubs move in a certain way. Okay, we've said how many times, Waffle? How many times have you and me said this on how big clubs are supposed to move? You go after other big clubs. You don't just keep looking at trying to be the potential guy. Oh, there's potential. I'm sorry. The potential was 5 fucking years ago. We won the damn league. We made it to the Champions League final in the same year from winning the league. We need to start moving like the big teams, or otherwise, Arsenal's going to be the same old fucking story where we might win one, we may win another one in 2 to 3 years' times, and it's a bunch of what if, buts, and maybes. No, go get proven players that are at the big teams. That's all you need to do. Hell, if we're talking about Vinny Jr., if Vinny don't work, hell, I'd go right back to Bayern Munich. What you want for Louis Diaz? You want 100 million for Louis Diaz? I'm looking at players like that. I'm not talking about these bullshit fucking teams anymore. I'm sorry. I'm done with that nonsense.
Completely forgot about Luis Diaz. But again, he's contracted to Bayern Munich. You can't tempt
But
him
again,
out.
if you got the money, put the money down and see what happens. That's what the big clubs do. Entice. Look to see what the player wants to do.
Money to
Enough of
what?
again, if Arsenal was back in this situation, if Arsenal right now came out and said, listen, we ain't got no money. We got to sell players and we have to make a profit off of what we're doing and we have to buy smaller league players. Okay, it is what it is. We have to deal with it for a year. But I'm not fucking looking at potential players when we're talking about trying to go back to back. Those two do not rely in the same area. I'm sorry, it's not. The only way you're going to go get a potential player is if you guys have looked through the crystal ball and know right now that all of a sudden that Martinelli's going to go back to what he was doing in the 22-23 season. If you know through a glass ball that Martinelli's going to do that, fine. You can go get Nusa for 40 million as a backup and we'll see how he is. But because we all know where Martinelli has been, I'm not taking that chance. We've spent $1 billion. Again, act like a big club. We need to win Premier League trophies. And here's one last little thing before I shut up. Let's all remember something here. We're the 3rd biggest team in England, right? Let's all remember something. If we don't win any trophy and City wins 2, they pass us on Trophy Hall. I'm not hearing this shit no more. I'm not hearing this shit no more about potential. We need to go and fucking win.
I hear you. See, because we're trying to round up the program now, almost 2 hours.
Yeah, sorry I went on that rant, Waffle. My bad.
Big. Nah, that was good. No, it makes the show interesting. People,
I like that.
I love this when people decide to just, roll it and turn it up a notch. Dr. Seymour, this is it. What do you think about what you've heard about all these left-wing options that we should have or something like that? What do you think, my bro? Are you willing to listen to the chant of Rashford donning an Arsenal shirt? Or who would you pick if Vinny's not coming?
I mean, so personally, I personally wouldn't mind seeing Nusa here. I mean, I think he is levels above Diamande. I don't know what people see in this Yan Diamande kid. I mean, he just seems to be like another pace merchant.
Big up Paris.
But I mean, I know that I mentioned Nusa in the past. I know that Yildiz just signed a new contract at Juventus, so he's probably not available. I mean, like Moliero's around in Spain, but
that's another one.
I mean, like, but we are. I mean, again, like we are scratching the bottom of the surface. We also don't know because again, like like if Arteta was a half decent manager, is there a way for either a Max Dowman or an Ethan Nwaneri to play on the left wing? Again, like I mean, like this is what we're dealt with because we have waited and we continue to wait to do business in the market. So Mika Kotz over at Ajax is available. I mean, again, like Malik Fofana is available. Like there are plenty of wingers available. Are they league proven? Not necessarily. Just and to Gianna's point, just because Nusa tears it up like with Norway does not mean that it's suddenly going to translate, into club success at Arsenal, especially considering who we have as manager and considering his track record with attackers at this club. I mean, again, like unless Arteta is just going to suddenly and surprisingly, change up our tactics, make us look more free-flowing attacking football next year, which I don't see happening. Let's say if we were to bring Vinny in, right? How long would it take for him to turn into like a Brazilian Nani Madueke? So I mean, like I just don't know.
He's probably going to go for, I think Nico.
Well, the only reason why I think we won't is because Berta had already stopped him in his tracks about this Nico Williams bullshit last season, and I don't think he's going to tolerate it again this season too. I don't know why we need the fucking multiverse of Nani Maduekes here at Arsenal. We already have the English one. Oh, let's now get a Spanish one. Oh, let's also get a French one while we're at it too. And while we're at it, let's also get a German Nani Madueke. Just because one Nani Madueke isn't enough for us.
Dr. Dr. Simo, if we don't get Vinny, who do you want to play in left wing? Since we've already agreed that Scholes is not enough.
Look, again, I'll take Nusa, I'll take Moliero.
Moliero's a shout.
Moliero is a shout. I
mean, again, there aren't many top-rate wingers out in the world. There are plenty of young, not league proven wingers. Whether it's like a Malik Fofana, whether it's like Said like El Mala,
but they're not better than Martinelli. That's the problem. If we're bringing in a player, the player has to be better than exceedingly than what we already have down there. All these players you've mentioned,
what we have is on the floor.
Are not more in terms of being more effective than that left wing than Martinelli though. So the person has to surge past Martinelli.
Would you
what we have there? And
Tony, would you entertain?
They're not up to level.
When you say these players ain't better than Martinelli, yeah, do you think that these players won't score more than one goal in the Premier League next season? Because that's all they need to be better than Martinelli.
Right, exactly. The standard is subterraneous now, Tony. Like the standard is below the floor.
See, there was somebody I was going to throw out there, and Waffle Don would know him since he's a Gala fan. I would look at Baris Yilmaz from Galatasaray. One, because the guy can play anywhere.
Yeah.
The guy can play 10, right wing, left wing, and false 9 if you need him to fit in there, if you want a different profile. And the guy's been there the whole time. Galatasaray's on 4 straight league titles. He's been proven. Now, yes, we can say whatever we want that it's the Super League, but the Super League has produced talent that translates over to the Premier League. And funny enough, they've done it better in recent times than what the Bundesliga has done. So I'm willing to entice looking at young talent to doing it. But again, my whole thing is this. If you're going to go down the route of young talent right now, come next summer, you need to go back out there and be looking at superstars. The superstar stuff cannot stop at this point. Yeah. If you're telling me we got to deal with like a Baris Yilmaz or a Nusa, just for argument's sake, I'll tolerate it for the year. But if you're going to tell me that we're buying these guys and Martinelli had a mediocre season and we're coming out saying, oh, we don't need wingers, we need to go and get more defensive guys, I'm going to lose my shit.
I mean, people. Should we be talking about Oyarzabal? He's more a 9 or a supporting striker or false 9 rather than a winger. We can't be looking at Oyarzabal. Who else? Bro,
I got one for you. And it would piss off the entire island of England. Go get Mason Greenwood. Fuck that bullshit that happened. Go get Mason Greenwood.
Oh my God, no.
Best swinger out there, mate.
You want
He
to
does
talk
this,
about
man.
somebody who's been scoring goals left, right, and center? Go get Mason Greenwood, and let's do what United did with us with RVP. Let's go get their ex-golden child, who's better than Rashford in my opinion, and put an Arsenal jersey on him. Because I guarantee you right now, his ability, Mason Greenwood's going to come over here. Especially you get the likes of a Bruno G here, smoke. Nothing but smoke if we go get a guy like that.
I think so. But Arsenal chicken out when it comes to very, very sensitive signings like that. Not because it's coming from, not because it was a former wonder kid at Manchester United, but just because of those rape allegations and all that stuff. Arsenal is not really going to, mesh their name into that kind of muddy waters, being linked to someone who has been alleged to commit a sexual assault on his girlfriend and all that stuff. Arsenal wouldn't be, seen publicly to connect with such character. So it is what it is, isn't it? So I don't think it's even viable. But I mean, work rates wise, with what he's doing right now, it's good for business though. But I don't think Arsenal will be looking that way though, because of all those things lingering, with him. But people, it is what it is, people, because I would have to round up this show, people. 2 hours we've been going at it. People, just before we go, yeah? A big one before we go, yeah? And I'll start from the waffle done and it goes straight and back to me before we go. Predictions for this season, people. First episode of Monday Night Madness. People, it's not always going to be 2 hours. It could just be normal 1 hour, but today was the season premiere. So, of course, we've done 2 hours. It's big for you guys. So, thanks for joining us today. So, see, what we're done. Predictions for the season. Do you think
that's a difficult one, man. Difficult one. Do you know what? It depends on the targets. I think it really depends on the targets because every team's strengthening right now, and I don't think it's just going to be as easy as people think it is. I don't care if other managers are coming to the arena and Pep's not there no more. Teams are still going to give us challenges. That Spurs derby, it's not going to be easy. The Chelsea games are not going to be easy. City is City, regardless of Pep. But if we do get Vinny and Bruno, then it's a wrap for me. So I think we'll do back to back, but it all depends.
So
on
in
the
other
target,
words, you
man.
have to wait for the signings. In other
yeah,
words,
I need to know the signings are coming in, man, to be 100% confident.
Okay. Gianni, I mean, predictions for the season. Where do you see Arsenal with what we have right now? Where do you think we'll end up?
As where everything stands right now, I think it's just going to be a fight between Arsenal and City for the title. I'm not convinced by Liverpool just yet because they haven't made enough moves, and I do not think Gakpo is going to turn around as a shit player he is. So Liverpool, I think, is more along the third line. I don't know if I'm convinced just yet in Chelsea. I know Xabi Alonso's done what he's done and they've gotten players, but I don't know. I'm still not convinced that their defense, even with Lacroix. So I'm not too sold on Chelsea just yet. Unless Aston Villa does a madness on some signings. I think Villa's dropping off hard this year when you look at what they've done. And then you look at United. I think United might be the team that gets fourth just. But I think for United fans, they're going to get a rude awakening on all the stuff that they're talking about. That now that you're going to be playing European football as well, you need to get a lot more players before you start talking about title challenges. Arsenal, I think it's between Arsenal and City. The whole thing with City for me is this. If Enzo Maresca goes in there trying to be a second version of Pep, City will fall off a cliff because the number twos almost 99% of the time are never the same thing as the number ones. And if they try to do the same thing, it doesn't work. If Maresca goes in there and says, I'm going to allow you guys to express yourself, but I want us to play more direct, and he force feeds Holland, then I think City's going to be a big asking point if we don't do anything serious in the window. If we get Bruno G, if we get Bruno G, another decent winger, and at least a backup center back and right back, if we can do that business before it's over, I think the title is Arsenal's to lose, if I'm being quite honest with you.
Ooh, big words from Gianni. Let's see if our brother, Dr. Samo, has that same kind of chest in Arsenal Football Club. See, Dr. Samo, what do you think? Predictions for this season?
What's this?
It's saying the deal with Dini has been done. 175 million.
Don't troll.
I don't think so.
Don't troll. That'd have been all over the news right now.
Don't troll. Come on, man. Home slides. Come on, bro. What are you saying? Come on. Don't do that to me. Come on, bro. Don't do that to me. Come on. Dr. Samo.
I should put the time on for
that. Could you tell us your thoughts for the season? And again, I know you can't concretely give these predictions. I completely get it, because we've not, signed players to actually complement what we already have. I get it. But we're champions. So with what we have right now, do you think Arsenal is going to retain the league? Or do you think, hey, we're not? So what do you think?
I mean, as the window stands right now, no. I think a massive subject that none of us are talking about is how much we're going to miss Saliba this coming season. And and again, maybe without Saliba being in the squad, Arteta is going to say, you know what? Well, maybe we have to go on the attacking front, and we're going to have to outscore our opponents just because we can no longer rely on such a stout defense. Just because Mascara is a decent center back, but he's no Saliba. And Gabriel tends to sometimes lose his head when Saliba is not in the team, paired up next to him. I don't think there really is a front runner currently in the league. I think it's really up for grabs. I think that people are writing Chelsea off at their own peril. I personally rate Xabi Alonso as a manager. I don't think it was any small feat that he had pipped Bayern after they went back to back for league titles for the last 13 years prior to Xabi Alonso setting up shop and then going invincible, with no known stars on that squad either. So I don't think anything is guaranteed for us next season. Or rather, no. The only thing that really is guaranteed. There are two things guaranteed for our season next year. There's going to be a fuck ton of PR, as there always is. So there'll be a bunch of stories in the media that will always just be recycling and regurgitating. And there's going to be injuries next season too. Make no doubt about it. So, our season, which ironically, I mean, after we just won the league, our season this coming season is entirely dependent on the transfer activity that we conduct. If we remain complacent, if we do not get the players in that we need to not only elevate the squad, but to also give ourselves the proper depth that this club needs to compete on multiple fronts.
Facts.
It's going to be long. I'm really not. I wish the World Cup was going on for another month, so I could talk and think less about Arsenal, because thinking and talking about this club does piss me off. Just because we all know what it should be doing and they don't do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Seymour and the flesh, people. I mean, it doesn't get better than this, people. Monday Night Madness, people. 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Where's Gary? Where's Gary, man? The dopamine.
You said?
I was like, where's Gary the dopamine? He dropped the bomber. I've not seen him since.
I mean, it is what it is. See, people, yeah. I think I'm looking at it from a clearly different point of view, yeah? I think we'll retain this league. And it's not because of the reasons you guys have raised. is because I think that Pep Guardiola has left a big void in this league. I don't think any manager would replicate what he has done for Manchester City, and Man City will be people. There will be a rude awakening for Manchester City this season because they're going to be seeing what they're missing in Pep Guardiola. People, I mean, I'm not really looking into it, deeper into it, but guys, yeah, I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. You guys have no idea the void that guy has left in this league. And I'm looking at the other managers that are managing these top clubs that I would say, oh, okay, they're gonna challenge Arsenal for it. And I'm looking at them and they're not winners. In my own thinking, they're clowns and bums because Maresca hasn't won any domestic title. I'm looking at Iraola. Iraola has to show me. He has to show me that he's a manager that, that can manage, in the top echelon of the Premier League. Yeah, he done his thing in Bournemouth, but he didn't win anything domestically, though. So, so why would anyone look at Iraola and say, you know what, yeah, you're a top manager? I don't think so. He's not a top manager. He might be a decent manager, but not an elite manager, though. So I'm looking at these top clubs here, and they're not riddled with winners in terms of managing. Mikel Arteta is the only manager that has won the Premier League that will be starting the league this season, bro. So, I mean, that raises lots of questions as to where this title might be going to right now. Raul has to show us. See, people, frankly speaking, yeah, I'm not convinced about that Chelsea team. I'm not convinced about their defense, and Lacroix going down there, people. I think it's a calamity waiting to happen, people. Personally, he's a calamity. Shout out to Manny. Big up to Manny. He says, big up, boys. Watching another stream now, but I just thought I'll pop in the chat and say hi. People, Manny Tangadarai, amazing personality. Hopefully, we invite him to the show to come and put his pin probably next week if he's going to show up. So big up to you, Manny. So it is what it is. I think Mikel Arteta is the only title-winning manager in this space that will know how to navigate the waters and win it next season. I don't think these other managers are winners. And I don't think they've actually fortified their team to that extent that I think they're going to blow the title out the water. Look at Man City. They've only brought in Anderson, though. I don't think that's enough, though. I still think they still need one defender. I still think they need an extra midfielder. Going by what's this English?
Brother, they need a whole new defense. Look, man, that's the thing about City. City is all going to depend on this. If they're actually going to play for Maresca, then it's the question. Okay? The only thing that City has going for them with Maresca is not going to bench Cherokee for half the season like the way Pep did. That's the only question that has to be there with City. City has no defense. Gahey isn't as good as everybody hypes him up to be. We saw that not only at the World Cup, but what he's done at City. Kushinoff is a fucking bum and an accident waiting to happen that just has pace. They need another center back. If we get Bruno G, it's ours to lose.
So, people, it is what it is. So, I don't see any other manager that would challenge Mikel Arteta right now. And these other teams, they've not bulked up to that point that I would say they're going to blow the title out the water.
Nor have we.
It's a big shout.
I've got one question for you guys.
I'm just throwing this out there. Bacola has agreed a deal to join Liverpool this afternoon. So, people, that's what we're doing right now. But I don't know. Maybe I'll consider the framework.
Let me ask you guys one real quick question. Let me ask you guys one quick question before we get out of here. And I don't want to sound like a negative, but if we do sign Bruno G, but the injury bug comes back next year and it's around the same things of running players into their ground, and we don't win this league, what is the leeway for Arteta going forward? Because that to me is the only. That to me is. That to me is the. He went and bounced.
Man bounced. That's a big one. That's a big one. See, Johnny, and that's why. Okay, see, Johnny. Yeah, again, that's why you need to have depth in that squad, innit? Yeah, and we've just said that Odegaard. I mean, we've looked at the market.
I can't hear you guys. I'm gonna bounce out because I gotta drive home.
Oh, okay.
I'll see you guys. Big up, guys.
Yeah. Big ups, man. Yeah, big ups.
Yep.
See, Seymour, yeah. The news, yeah. Odegaard is not going anywhere. It's still here. I'm not hearing rumors about Merino leaving. I'm not hearing rumors about Zubimendi leaving. I'm not hearing any rumors about concretely right now about Waneri leaving. Bro, we have this corpus of midfielders here that are not going to leave. They're at the football club. So that depth, do you think it covers anything for us though? To be more frank, does it cover anything for us? In terms of these injuries that Gianni talked about?
I mean, look, we've already talked about the necessity for depth last year, and we talked about the concerns that we had if, for example, Declan Rice went down to injury, or if Saliba went down to injury. There are massive drop-offs in that quality. You know, the only addition that we have made is bringing in Salas. You know, who may be a necessary, he is a decent option. I've never personally watched him very actively, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt just because our chief scout has a proven track record of scouting wingers. But at the end of the day, we have not done any of the business needed to actually shore up our squad and to ensure that we are going to win over that we are going to repeat. I mean, even from a statistical standpoint, how many apart recent memory with City, how many clubs have gone back to back winning the league?
Yeah,
it's sparse.
I mean,
City and United.
I mean, it is what it is. See, people, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, this midfielders, this multiple midfielders we have: Merino, Odegaard, Eze. I didn't even mention Eze, in that shout. Mars, Lewis, Kelly, Waneri. All these guys are there. Mind you, Vieira is still training with Arsenal and hasn't gotten a move out of Arsenal yet. So we have all these midfielders. Can we call them depth? I don't know right now. After the transfer window, it will take shape, and then we know the players that are still here. People, I mean, it is what it is. Shout out to you, Dr. Seymour, for showing up to the show today. God bless you, my brother. Hopefully next week we can get to do it. Johnny just stepped out. Shout out to Johnny. He had to go move his family. Big up to you. Thanks. It's always good energy with these guys down here. The people, I mean, you see me and Dr. Seymour going at it. Behind the scenes, we're great friends, yeah, people. So don't take it the other way. I just check in my brother Seymour sometimes, so that's how it is. Just to make sure that the show,
he needs to make his bangers, man. So let him go make his food. He needs to make his sausages, man. He needs to go.
See, Wafu Don, what do you have coming up before we go? What do you have coming up before we go?
Nothing much I can think of. Maybe my show on Wednesday, but nothing much at the moment. Busy week this week. Other things, some other things going at the moment. But yeah, what about you? Yeah,
I'll be having a show with Josh AFC, probably coming to the channel tomorrow. This season, I'll be reviving my show with Dr. Seymour, depending on his availability. So please, on Wednesday, Dr. Seymour, if you're available, our show could hop off on Wednesday if you're free.
You need to get a show.
Me and Dayo, I've just opened up a new show, which will be held on Thursdays. Arsenal Unhinged. People, he's a happy, positive guy. I'm now back on the tracks of Mikel Arteta. So two top gunners doing their thing, innit? So it's what it is. Yeah, because even my own family call me top gunners. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, it's true, bro. Yeah, I mean the group. I mean that critical group with you guys. and you guys still think I'm a top gooner. So it is what it is.
We can hear it in your voice.
Let me don't shed my skin. Yeah, so I agree. I'm a top gooner, no problem. I just won the league. Yeah, do whatever. Yeah, I just won the league. So Arteta can stay. I don't want a manager who just won the league to leave my football club. So take me to the court, sue me. Yeah, people. So this is what it is. Me and BBK Sports might be having something to do this week. I'll have to head to his channel to do something with him. I'll be back with Ola of the Fight Week show this week, probably on Saturday. And then me and Mark, the mouthy Manchester United fan, will be back on Sunday. So watch out for that one, Red Divide. And, it is what it is. But people watch out for the Arsenal Unhinged. And on Wednesday, if Dr. Seymour is freed up in the evening, probably maybe 7 p.m., any of those times, if it's free, we can get our show on with Dr. Seymour. So people catch us on the TV. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for showing up today for us. Paris on my channel, big ups to you. God bless you. Omslice, big ups to you. All these legends in the chat here, Mosguna, all these people here, big ups to you. Yasa, thanks for the raid today. Everyone who's coming down from, is this showing on your channel, Dr. Seymour? Is this showing on your channel?
Oh no, and I mean, like, I'm probably even going to be discontinuing my channel. I mean, I'm really just going to be here on a sole, like, contributing to an overall group. I'm not really doing my
because the elections are coming up, and again, these are the lines. So, and of course, we know that Dr. Seymour is heavily invested in the elections coming up. I mean, it is what it is. But Dr. Seymour, it's very good that you're contributing your own quota, I mean, to your country, to making sure that you get things more better down there. Kudos to you. God bless you, bro. And any other person have anything to say before we go?
I'm at 1%, so my laptop is about to die. So before that does, bless up to you all, man.
Yeah, man. I need to jet as well. Come on, man. Let's we're gonna end stream now. People.
Let's go. Peace, people. Thanks.